Good morning. We apologize for the delay, but we're now convening our Drainage District Board of Directors meeting set for today, May 16, 2017. President are Commissioner Fuentes, Precinct 1, Commissioner
Commissioner Cantu, Precinct 2, Judge Ramon Garcia, and Commissioner Flores, Precinct 3. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Commissioner.
No
Joseph, just for the board, Commissioner Palacios is the keynote speaker for the Fallen Heroes ceremony, so he'll be joining
that is correct.
The board as soon as he has the opportunity
Please
to
join us in prayer.
Good morning, Father Rene Angel from Resurrection Catholic Church in Alamo. Christ the Lord bore our infirmities and endured our sufferings. He went about doing good, leaving us an example to follow. Having Christ's charity as the foundation, all we do, let us pray to him, saying, Lord, hear our prayer. Lord, for our sake you were poor and came not to be served but to serve. Grant that we too may love our brothers and sisters and help them in their need. Let us pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayers. By your redeeming work, you made us a new world where we have become neighbors to each other and are enabled to love one another. Grant that we too may strive toward a way of life in keeping with the gospel. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayers.
You want all people to share in the blessings you have brought. Stir the hearts of many among your people, so that, moved by your love, they may gladly devote themselves to assist those in need and in misfortune. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayers.
You will that your mother should also be our mother. Grant that whenever we turn to her for protection, we will find in her a helper sent to us from heaven. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayers.
Let us pray. Blessed are you, Lord God of mercy, who through your Son gave us a marvelous example of charity and the great commandment of love for one another. Send down your blessing upon the County Commission, who so generously devote themselves to helping others. When they are called on in times of need, let them faithfully serve you in their neighbor. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. And may Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under open forum, did anyone sign up?
Yes, sir. We do have participants for the Drainage District under open forum. As a friendly reminder, everyone, I'm going to ask everyone to please, in the audience, to please respect the speaker's time at the podium. There is a 3-minute time limit, and I will advise when there is 1 minute left. Our first speaker is Stephanie Herwick.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Herwick, and I'm a volunteer with the Lower Rio Grande Valley Sierra Club.
Good morning.
I want to take the opportunity today to share our appreciation for the letter and resolution opposing border walls that the Hidalgo County Drainage District passed at the May 2nd public meeting. Taking a strong stance against border walls is the best way to advocate for the needs of the valley and of your constituents, and so we applaud you for that. However, before the letter and resolution were passed, there was a discussion here that made it clear that the board is continuing to, what we think is misrepresent the facts about the status of the levees and what is needed to get FEMA accreditation. That discussion was also printed in the Monitor. And we wanted to lay out the facts in an open letter as best as we can determine them from what we have determined from multiple conversations with IBWC and FEMA. We have been told in no uncertain terms that the river levees have been completely rehabilitated. The work was done by IBWC with the $220 million from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. All of the segments of the levees along the river where the proposed border wall would go have been submitted for accreditation by IBWC and are tagged on their maps as certification submitted, which Ms. Sally Spiener of the IBWC said in an email to us on March 3rd, 2017. Certification submitted means that USIBWC has submitted documentation to FEMA indicating that USIBWC certifies the levees as meeting FEMA criteria. In that sense, the levee rehabilitation part of the accreditation process is complete. I'm going to repeat that part. She said the levee rehabilitation part of the accreditation process is complete. FEMA accreditation also depends on communities addressing local drainage issues on the land side of the levees. So work on the levees is in fact complete and they are ready to be accredited. On a call of April 25th, 2017, Mr. Larry Voice, the project manager with FEMA, echoed this, saying that the levees were rebuilt to, quote, structural certification, meaning that the levees themselves are in their current state would be accredited by FEMA. The reason the system is not accredited already is because they're waiting on work that needs to be done on the land side or north side of the levees, not the levees themselves. Ms. Spiener was very clear about what that meant, and she said, and I quote, in many communities during non-flood conditions, local rainfall from the land side of the levee drains into the river via gates in the levee. However, during flood operations, the gates, yes.
Time. Time.
Your time.
You said you would tell me 1 minute. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Can I finish my sentence here? We believe that the levee border wall will do nothing to address flooding issues or FEMA accreditation, and we are calling on the Hidalgo County Drainage District to clarify the actual status of river levees for the public and for local leaders, and to tell county residents exactly what work remains to be done on the flood control system and what that work entails.
Thank you, ma'am.
And we would appreciate it if you would make all of your statements align with the facts of IBWC and with
Thank
FEMA.
you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judge, commissioners, we do have 3 other presenters, as I did allow roughly 20 seconds over. I will allow on both sides. I will allow the other 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and I will allow on the other side so that I can be fair to everybody concerned. Our next presenter is Eva Carranza.
They're actually going to be Eva Carranza and Alberta.
Okay, yes, and Alberta.
They're going to be together, and then I'm going to take the 6 minutes.
Okay, Eva Carranza and Alberta Ramirez then at the podium?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Alberta Ramírez, soy miembro de la Unión de Lupe y líder en mi colonia Owasso Acres.
Hello, my name is Alberta Ramirez. I am a member of Lupe and I am a resident of the Colonia Owasso Acres.
Hoy estamos aquí, comisionados y señor juez, con 4,401 firmas de residentes que creen que todas las personas merecen un drenaje que trabaje para todos y que apoyan un distrito de drenaje más transparente y accesible para los residentes de colonias como nosotros.
We're here, commissioners and judge, with 4,041 signatures of residents who believe that everybody deserves a drainage that works for everybody in the county, and that support our drainage campaign for more transparent and more accountable district that serves the residents of the colonias like ourselves.
Aquí mi compañera de Arise les va a exponer los 3 puntos de lo que estamos pidiendo. Gracias.
My partner from Arise will go ahead and present our campaign goals, which are 3 main goals.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Eva Carranza, residente del precinto 2, y los 3 puntos de nuestra campaña es restablecer el comité asesor de drenaje pluvial y hacerlo permanente, modificar las reglas de subdivisiones para proteger nuevas vecindades contra tormentas de 25 años y asignar recursos de un modo equitativo hacia las colonias más necesitadas.
Hello, my name is Eva Carranza. I'm here with Arise, resident of South Tower Colonia. And the three main points of our drainage campaign are to reestablish the Drainage Advisory Committee and make it permanent and include colonial residents in that. To modify the model subdivision regulations to have higher standards for new subdivisions for drainage of 25 years. And lastly, to equitably distribute resources to colonias and to places in most need and in most dangers of flooding.
Y gracias al trabajo de las dos organizaciones, Arise y Lupe, y sus líderes, hacemos entregas de 4,041 firmas. Gracias.
Thanks to the work of Arise and Lupe, we are submitting these signatures from 4,041 residents who also support our campaign goals. Thank you.
Thank you. The last presenter is Ms. Fern McClarity.
Yes, Trump's wall. How about, I know the Sierra Club was here talking about killing a lot of birds and bugs and butterflies and people. But how many MS-13, just one of the gangs that have entered into the United States? Your first job is to secure the residents of Hidalgo County. Every subdivision that I've been looking at lately, they all have a fence. Ramon's got a fence. I haven't hit the others, but other subdivisions have a fence, almost all of them. Why do we have to lock our doors to our cars? Guarantee we go outside, every one of the cars will be locked up, or otherwise it's in Mexico. And our homes. We have to lock our doors, put bars on our homes, and have dogs that keep people from breaking into our homes. Why don't you help stop the colonias that are subdivisions that are being built all over the Hidalgo County in low areas? These people do deserve areas that do not flood, but the problem is the laws do not allow it. Whatever they're called, the developers, they go over to Austin and they have plenty of money to help stop this. So your job is to keep us safe, keep us protected, and keep our homes from flooding. So I hope that y'all will work, and like I said, thank God for Trump.
Thank you, ma'am. Judge, Commissioners, we don't have any other speakers on drainage.
Thank you. The approval of consent agenda?
Yes, sir.
Is that okay? There are no items.
Motion
No
approved.
issues. Second. Excuse me. No,
Those in
there are
favor
items. No
say
issues.
aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you, Judge. Item 5, discussion, Dow County Drainage District Number 1 Drainage Project Maintenance and Operations. Item 5A1, Lucero del Norte. It's one of the rural drainage development projects that was identified in Precinct 1. We just received bids, and the apparent low bidder came in at right under $300,000, $299,000 to do improvements in that rural development. And the district, through in-house forces, both design and construction, will be doing the off-site drainage 10 by 7 box. So we anticipate having that project in construction hopefully within the next 30, maximum 60 days. I'll get the contract executed and move forward with it. So that's one of the projects that we have identified as rural drainage that we know we had issues in the past, and we believe this project will address those issues. Schuner Drain, Tex-Mex Drain, it's another project that we've been working on, and that one we designed in-house. We put it out for bid, and that's another $300,000 that we're investing in drainage to get the waters from the 107 Tex-Mex area, which we know were affected heavily by Dolly. We've done a lot of improvements in that area already, and then with these crossings across Schuner and across Valverde and Eastern, there we'll get the water quicker into our 200-acre Dickerson Pond. So we're investing money there to move waters out quickly in those rural developments areas, rural colonias, I guess, if you want to call them. Number 3, drainage ditch east of Jackson Road. This is just a partnership that we enter with the city of Edinburgh. We do partner with cities. They bring in the partnership, they bring money to the table, and we were able to help them. So we entered interlocal where we help improve a drainage system for them, and it's been a successful partnership, and we're done with that, turning that over to the city for their maintenance to maintain. So just wanted to brief the board on the improvements that we're doing, but also some of the partnerships that we run with some of the cities to improve our drainage in our area. So. Item 6, if I may, request acceptance and approval by the Alcoa County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors, order authorizing the purchase of certain personal property, describing an attachment from Alcoa County Precinct 3 for the agreed-on book value.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Basically, just for the records, trench protection boxes that we use for construction in tight spaces when we're laying a pipe. So. Item 7, request approval to create 3 temporary student engineering assistant positions for the district engineering department. Requirement for these slots are that they be junior or senior level engineering students and will work for a period of 3 months, June 1st through August 31st, 2017, not to exceed 40 hours per week at the rate of $15 an hour. This is just a program that we're trying to initiate with our local partners here at UTRGV. This is Dr. Ho. He's a professor there at UTRGV Civil Engineering Department. And last year we did employ some temporary workers during the summer. There were students, but we want to have a local participation or local connection to our local college that we have here. So we want to initiate this first, start this off, and work towards next summer keeping this same program open, expanding it, and so forth. The Drainage District, we do have licensed engineers housed in there. We anticipate putting these young students to work both out in the field with our surveying crews and also in-house with our engineering team, reviewing plans, running hydraulic models and things of that nature to kind of get them exposed to real-life application engineering. So, Dr. Ho.
Well, morning. This is John
Good morning,
Sokol.
sir.
Yes, I'm really happy to just work with this Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 and UTRGV Civil Engineering Department. And as you just mentioned, that the students were happy to just apply what they learn in the classroom, and we are spending a lot of time on the what's the importance of the stormwater drain channel, especially in Hidalgo County. So they're happy to just work with. We are just getting their resume and their interest and try to find the very best 3 candidates.
Great.
Yes.
Just a side note, I know UTRGV president used to be at Alabama, and one of the chairs at UTRGV Civil is Alabama too, so they're recruiting people from all. Just a side note.
Mr. Cecine, make sure
FYI.
that make sure they're also looking at maybe testing some of the roads that we're building to practice.
Actually, we can expand it. That's a great comment, Commissioner. We do have the interlocal with the precincts that we do design work, both roadway work. And we were focusing on drainage, but I think we can get into that component to look at the road design and, all facets of what we do at the district. We can definitely start looking at that and then expand it into geotech work, of course.
And just road inspection, and they can kind of see what the professionals do and what they do, and they can kind of see where they're at.
I was privileged I serve on the advisory committee here for UTRGV and Civil Engineering Department, and I was invited to the senior presentation. There were some real good life application projects that they did, design of roadways and geotechnical and from the ground up, developing a budget and things of that nature. So I was happy to see that, and that's what we want to kind of carry forward here into the district, maybe in junior or senior year application, so they can get a real feel for what we do out there in the industry. So thank you. Thank you for your support.
Second.
Yes.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
7B, request approval to exempt these 3 temporary positions and allow the general manager and drainage and Dr. Ho, assistant professor and associate chair, Department of Civil Engineering, TV, to select the candidates.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion
And
carries.
7C, request budget amendment for the general fund of the above mentioned positions to fund the above mentioned positions in the amount of $29,000 for salaries and fringes.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8, presentation of the sole firm responding for RFP number ACDD 1-17-017-0426, Title Company Services, Valley Land Title Company, for the purpose of acceptance and ranking as qualified by ACD Board of Directors.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, pursuant to the board approval, requesting authority for the Hidalgo County District Number 1 to negotiate a service contract with the sole qualified proposer of Valley Land Title for the provision of title company services.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 9, bond series approval to issue manual payment on the following payment applications for construction projects once audit procedure is complete. 9A, application for payment number 2 in the amount of $6,056 from M5 Texas Enterprise LLC related to construction project number ACDD 1-14-028-1028, drain control structures, Monte Cristo lateral, PO 626178, project engineer, Tessie Infrastructure Group. 9B, application for payment number 3 in the amount of $27,900 from M5 Texas Enterprises LLC related to construction project ACDD 1-14-28-1028, drain control structure, Westaco North lateral, PO 626177, project engineer, Tessie Infrastructure Group. And 9C, application for payment number 4, retainage release in the amount of $29,375 from M5 Texas Enterprise LLC related to construction project number ACDD 1-14-028-1028, drain control structure, Westaco North lateral, PO 626177. Project engineer, Tessie Infrastructure is everything's in order.
Move for approval on 9A through C.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 10, approve it for invoice R026649 in the amount of $1,343.93 to Robert Kistner Consultants, Inc. for construction material testing, on-call services related to Precinct 1 El Obispado subdivision drainage improvements, PO 631641. And item B, approve of invoice number 517112810 in the amount of $4,350 Urban Infrastructure Group for engineering service pertaining to Precinct 1 Rural Drainage Development, mile 13.5 and FM 1015 Drainage Improvement Project, PO 630635.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 11A, approval of invoice number 11326277 in the amount of $1,190 to LNG Engineers for work authorization 6A on the La Jolla watershed for work relating to right-of-way acquisition, PO 627201. And item B, 11B, approval invoice 11326276 in the amount of $1,000 to LNG Engineers for work authorization number 5 on the La Jolla watershed improvement project for work relating to closing service fees, PO 625396.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 12, requesting approval of closing documents, parcel 45, as it relates to J09 ditch project, and authority of chairman of the board to execute documents subject to final legal review.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, pursuing the board approval of agenda item 5976A, requesting approval to issue manual payment in the amount of $97,354 to Valley Land Title Company, order file number 144811, parcel 45.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 13A, requesting approval of closing documents, parcel 44, as it relates to the J09 ditch project, and authority for chairman of the board to execute documents subject to final legal review.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
13B, pursuant to the board's approval, agenda item 5977A, requesting approval to issue manual payment in the amount of $97,536.03 to Valley Land Title Company, order file number 144808, parcel 44.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
14, request approval to amend closing documents for parcel 27E as it relates to La Jolla Bypass outfall ditch. The correction will include closing costs in the amount of $804 not reflected on agenda item 59209. Approval of the board on 4/5/2017. The revised total is $91,469 with 63 cents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
15, request approval right of entry request from right-of-way surveying and authorization for drainage district general manager to execute as it relates to Sherry Road property ID number 458365, just part of the Sherry Road gathering data, and they need to access our drain ditch. So,
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
item 16, request approval to accept bids and approval to execute a construction contract to lowest bidder meeting all specified requirements, Moorville LLC, for RFP number ACDD 11702200426, Schooner Drain Ditch Improvements, FM 1423 Valverde Road Crossing, Irrigation Crossing, and Dillon Road Crossing, in the total bid amount of $310,393 for space bid and alternates 1 and 2 as recommended by Mr. Salivar from my office, subject to compliance with HB 1295.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
16B, pursuant Texas Local Government Code 262031, and in the interest of expediting the project's progress, requesting authority approval for Drainage District General Manager to execute change orders that involve an increase or decrease in cost of $50,000 or less, in no event to exceed the change order statutory limits. The original contract price may not be decreased by 18% or more without the consent of the contractor.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 17, request approval of following work authorization related to the agreement with LNG Consulting Engineers for the provision of on-call construction material testing services, Precinct 2, 3, 4, and ACD 1 Master Drainage System, and the amounts listed subject to compliance, HB 1295. Work authorization number 6, Minnesota Cesar Chavez Drainage Improvement, 19,460 and 90. Work number 7, 13.5 and 1015 area drainage improvements. That'll be 13,331 and 55. Work authorization number 8, Lucero del Norte subdivision area drainage improvements, 10,589 85. And number 9, Junior drainage improvements, 850 58. And number 10, Plena Vista subdivision, 16,387 82.
Just to clarify, I think 2 of these are in precinct 1, but it wasn't listed as part of the description.
Oh, it's part of the, yes, sir. Yeah, it's part of the master drainage system, but yes, sir. But yes, it is precinct 1, sir, but it's part of the master drainage system, so that's why it's included in that. Yep, but yes, sir, you're correct. Just for clarification.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
There'll be no action on 18. It was actually should be action. We'll take action on 19. If I may, 19 requesting approval authorization number 4 to agreement number C17002010 with Having Associates in the amount of $18,639.50 as it relates to geotech services for ACD1 New Administration Building, approval of Subconsultant Engineers Group.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Judge, I believe we do have one item posted for closed session.
Pursuant to sections 551, 071, and 072 of the Texas Government Code, I would need a motion to proceed to executive session.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're going to be in executive session. An open session.
We need action back on.
Yeah,
sure.
We're going to come in back over.
Corrected.
Right. Item 21A, real estate acquisition. But I guess that would be we'll pursue.
Under open session, item 21A, there is no action to be taken. 21B, pending and or potential litigation, there's no action to be taken. Under 21C, CCD-0343-H, State of Texas versus DNS Bell Enterprise Ltd. et al. Judge Commissioners,
we'll proceed as directed, Bob.
We'll proceed as directed, and I should put on the record that the firm of Atlas Hall Rodriguez is representing the interest of the Drainage District as it pertains to State of Texas versus DNS Bell Enterprises Limited et al. I'd like for the court, again, as a matter of practice, to take a vote on the representation.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And just to be sure, I think I said court, I meant district, the board.
The board of directors,
yes. I don't believe there's Mr. Cecina.
No, sir. There's no other items to discuss.
Okay. So all we have is adjournment.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. At this time, we're going to be convening our regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court, posted for today, May 16, 2017. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and in the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what's best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessing and your guidance. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, go ahead. Just a minute. On the consent agenda, are there any concerns?
Yes, we do have one concern, and I have two statements or two comments to make. And I'll ask Ms. Marty to go up. We have a concern under consent agenda item 12C. And Judge Commissioners, I'm going to ask the court to take action. And as a disclosure, Commissioner Precinct 1 is abstaining from 11, consent agenda 11A and B. And Commissioner Precinct 3 will be abstaining from consent agenda item 5B 1D.
Can we approve the whole consent?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
And Ms. Marty, can you clear up item 12C?
Yes. I'm going to read the caption first. Approval to exercise the county's option to extend the final year term under contract number 032 with Enterprise Holding Incorporated for lease the rental of vehicles for Hidalgo County under the same rates, terms, and conditions. The concern being that we have not received his Form 1295. The company has been advised. I do recommend approval subject to the compliance.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Julie?
Good morning.
Item 5A.
Good morning, Commissioners and Judge. Julia Sullivan with Public Affairs. Item 5A is a proclamation declaring May 2017 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. And joining us, please go ahead and join us up here, is our members of the RGV Fallen Bikers, and co-founder Mary Solano is immediately to my right. Whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of recreation and transportation for thousands of people across the country, state, and our nation, and whereas motorcycles are a common and economical means of transportation that reduces fuel consumption and road wear and contributes in a significant way to the relief of traffic and parking congestion, and whereas motorcyclists have the same rights and privileges as any motorist, this means they're entitled to their space on the road, no matter the size of their ride. This also means that they must follow the same road laws as other vehicles, including keeping a safe distance from other vehicles. And whereas both motorcyclists and motorists need to be aware of their surroundings, checking for blind spots, mirrors, and using turn signals when changing lanes and passing. And whereas the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and Motorcycle Safety Foundation have designated May as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. And whereas during Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month and the rest of the year, drivers of all other vehicles are reminded to share the road with motorcyclists and to be extra alert to keep them safe. And whereas all drivers should unite in the safe sharing of roadways throughout Hidalgo County, the state, and our country, now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby proclaims May 2017 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month and urges all motorists to join in efforts to keep our highways and streets safe. Approve the 16th day of May 2017.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And to accept the proclamation is Mary Solano.
Your Honor, gentlemen, good morning. My name is Mary Solano. I'm the co-founder of RGV Fallen Bikers that I established in September of 2016 after tragically losing my husband as part of intoxicated manslaughter. And so I just want to, thank you all for the opportunity and for recognizing, we want to educate the community, also provide support for the victims' families. As you see here, we've done a victims walk and now, this. So we appreciate you and your time, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, if we can add, Andrew Cannon would like to share a few words as a fellow biker, and obviously he's our director of our MPO.
Morning, gentlemen. How you doing? Andrew Cannon, Hidalgo County Transportation Director, also president of the American Bikers Association in McAllen. I just want to thank you. We know that this is far too often overlooked by the transportation community out there. All of us are riding big old bikes. I ride an 800-pound, loud as thunder, can get away with motorcycle and people don't see you. And I never understand that. It's really sad. Last week we got proclamations from the city of Mission and the city of McAllen. While we were at the city of McAllen getting the motorcycle awareness proclamation, we had a biker get hit over near 281 in Olana. and it's just far too tragic of a thing. But I want to thank you, and I just also want to make sure that I extend the invitation. This evening, the City of Edinburgh at 6 o'clock will be doing the same thing as you gentlemen have done here this morning, and then we'll be riding out on the bikes, and everyone's invited to come out to Alamo, who will be doing the same thing at 7 p.m. So it's nice to see the momentum picking up around the county from all the cities to support us out there as we do. You know, you've got plumbers and lawyers and doctors and mechanics, city commissioners, mayors, professionals, blue collar, it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody goes out and rides for the enjoyment, serves our community, does a lot for our community. You want to make it back home safe to your family. And in the end of the day, that's really all that matters. So we just appreciate you addressing this and bringing some additional light to it. And I appreciate everything that they're doing for these individuals who have lost loved ones. I hope to never be there. My wife rides her own bike. And I know sometimes I get worried when Julia's out on hers because maybe somebody won't see her. And I hope that never happens. So just thank you for what you're doing here.
Write them all up. No. My dad help.
Oh. Do you need him to spread it? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And good luck.
Thank you. Elder abuse?
Dangerous vehicle.
Besides a four-wheeler.
Sir, may I present
Item 5B.
Good morning again. Item 5B is a proclamation declaring May 2017 as Elder Abuse Awareness Month. Joining us is Gustavo Salinas, Community Engagement Specialist with Adult Protective Services, and he's joined by several of his colleagues. Whereas people who are elderly or have disabilities have contributed to the general welfare of Hidalgo County by helping to preserve customs, convictions, and traditions of many people from diverse backgrounds. These residents are vital and integral members of our society, and their wisdom and experience have enriched our lives. And whereas abuse of the elderly and people with disabilities in domestic and institutional settings is a widespread problem affecting hundreds of thousands of people across the country, and whereas in 2016 there were 83,534 completed cases of elderly and disabled persons abuse in Texas, of which 51,608 were confirmed. And whereas elder abuse is grossly underreported because the elderly who are being abused find it very difficult to tell anyone that they're usually ashamed and sometimes afraid. And whereas elder abuse happens to men and women of all income levels, all cultural and ethnic groups, whether they're in good health or incapacitated in some way, in poor neighborhoods and in suburbia. And whereas many of the cases investigated by Adult Protective Services in Texas involve self-neglect, and it's our duty as citizens to reach out to people in need. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim the month of May 2017 as Elder Abuse Awareness Month and urges all citizens to work together to help reduce abuse and neglect of people who are elderly or who have disabilities. Approved the 16th day of May 2017.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
You can go ahead and introduce.
Sure.
Good morning. My name is Gustavo Salinas. I want to thank you, Judge and Commission, for the opportunity to come before you and for helping us to do some outreach and education about this critical matter that is affecting our community. I think that today I also want to thank Letty. She's with Crossroads Senior Center. She's the director, and then some of our volunteers and members actually of the Crossroads Senior Center. I just wanted to let you know, for the residents of Hidalgo County that are 60 and over, they run an excellent program there. They have a gym, and so it's a free service. So please go out there and enjoy healthy aging. We always encourage people to be social and interact. So it's a great avenue for you to go and spend some time with them. But on a more serious note, abuse of elderly and adults with disabilities is happening right now, and what we want is for people to know that there's an avenue for them to reach out to us. And so if you suspect any abuse, neglect, or financial exploitation, we urge you to give us a call at 1-800-252-5400. It is a free and confidential call, and we are open 365 days a year. So if you're out there, if you're suffering, or if a neighbor or friend is suffering, please give us a call. Again, 1-800-252-5400. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
The commissioners will to the center, and then
Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Commissioner Palacios' right, and after you to Commissioner Fuentes' left.
¿Cuántos dijiste día?
Hi there.
We have room for one more over Yeah, because we can't block the commissioners.
I'm trying, buddy. Still here.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
She's stressed her off. I'm trying.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good
to see you.
The senior center is always here. They have an
Thank you.
The senior center and the Crossroads Senior Center is off of Jacksonville. Right next to Dr. Osil.
Okay.
I'm third.
Yeah, it's an awesome place.
Be careful when you want to step down.
All the chairs are off center. The aisle's over here by me, not by you.
All right, next item, 5C.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Michael Leo, County Judge's Office, Economic Development. It's discussion and approval of the addendum to the tax abatement agreement between Hidalgo County and South Texas Electric Cooperative, Inc., effective December 22nd of 2015, granting an 8% tax abatement in accordance with the agreement and the tax abatement guidelines. This agreement was approved by the court back in 2015. The agreement stipulated that once the company provided all the documentation necessary to the auditor's office, we could in turn notify the appraisal district. So they've done that. So to be in accordance with that agreement, we're just providing this addendum so the auditors can move forward to send that documentation.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Item 6, constables.
Yes, Judge. Item 6A, Constable Precinct 2 couldn't be with us today. He's asking discussion, consideration, and approval to appoint Mr. Jose Jaime Leos as a reserve deputy constable, and this would be by our Constable Martin Cantu, Constable of Precinct 2. This is in accordance with Texas Local Government Code Section 86.012.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 6B.
Good morning, Dan Broles on behalf of Constable Gallardo. This is one authorization to accept the approval notice in reference to Operation Stone Garden fiscal year 2016 for the amount of $80,000.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Authorization and approval for county judge as authorized official to electronically accept grant award form and related documents.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the fiscal year 2016 Operation Stone Garden grant in the amount of $80,000.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And finally, approval to appropriate the budget for Constable Precinct 3 portion of the fiscal year 2016 Operation Stone Garden grant in the amount of $80,000.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item C, Precinct 4.
Good morning. Javier Rodriguez for Precinct 4 Constable J.R. Gaitan. Authorization to accept the approval notice in reference to Operation Stone Garden fiscal year 2016 for the amount of $75,000.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Authorization and approval for county judge as authorized official to electronically accept grant award form and related documents.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the fiscal year 2016 Operation Stone Garden grant in the amount of $75,000.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And approval to appropriate the budget for Hidalgo County Constable's Precinct 4 portion of the fiscal year 2016 Operation Stone Garden grant in the amount of $75,000.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 7, our tax office.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Claudia Lee Salinas. I'm coming from the tax office on behalf of Paul Villarreal. He's not able to make it today.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning. I'm here to present two items. First one being 7A, discussion, consideration, and approval to execute an interlocal agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of Donna for implementation of scofflaw procedures and processes for vehicle registration denial services.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
The second one being 7B, discussion, consideration, and approval to execute an interlocal agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of Palmhurst for implementation of scofflaw procedures and processes for vehicle registration denial services.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Sheriff's Office, item 8A.
Good morning, Joel Rivera with the Sheriff's Office on behalf of Sheriff Eddie Guerra. 8A, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
8A2, approval of the appropriation of funds to the jail commissary fund account for the amount of $17,175.
37.
Oh, I'm sorry, 73.
Sorry, could you repeat the number 2?
17,000. Excuse me. I need my glasses.
37,175.
I'm sorry, 37,175.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
8B, approval to declare surplus and remove from the county inventory list, county asset tag 56978, canine Herbie, a black Dutch Shepherd due to the death from cardiac arrest.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'd like to thank Herbie for his service.
Thank you.
Item 9, our executive office.
I'm going to skip 9A, and I'm going to pass on 9B while I get Mr. Singuero over. 9C, I'm going to ask Mr. Salazar, Mr. Ray Salazar, to come to the podium with respect to item 9C 1 and 2. 9C is we're asking, well, Ray, you want to go ahead and present the item,
Yes, sir.
please?
Thank you. Judge Commissioners, Ray Salazar. I'm here before you to present two agenda items on behalf of the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council. Item C1, discussion, consideration, and possible approval to reappoint or appoint members to the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council, Hidalgo County Board of Directors. Mr. Ron Garza is here present to discuss any questions you may have on this item.
Just a question, who currently sits in that position?
Presently, Commissioner Cantu is the designated.
And I've been talking to Commissioner Fuentes since it's in Wesco to see if he can help me out. He's been going to some of the meetings, so if at this time we're appointing a board member, I would like to appoint Commissioner Fuentes, if he accepts.
I'll accept. Move for approval, appointing Precinct 1 Commissioner David Fuentes.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner. And at this time, with your approval, we'd also like to designate an alternate or an individual that in circumstances when Commissioner Fuentes may not be able to attend.
You want to be there?
Whatever you want.
That's fine.
Commissioner Palacios.
Second.
Thank you.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 2, discussion, consideration, and possible approval of an interlocal agreement with the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council for a road to recycling project. About a month and a half ago, we met with the Development Council, and they approached us regarding some leftover TCEQ funding, and they wanted to talk to the counties on a region-wide project. Instead of returning the monies back to the state, how we can leverage some of those monies here in our county. What we have before you is an interlocal agreement where we are contributing a $37,000 contribution. The Development Council is also coming in with a $37,000, and Cameron County is coming in with a $37,000 contribution. Right now, Mr. Garcia, if you can inform us on Willacy County's commitment. They're also working with Willacy County. At the end, the proposal is that we would use our contribution, leverage approximately 44% of the Development Council's funding, in addition to our contribution, to be able to designate a day, an event, or at some point work with each of your precincts to decide the specifics and the logistics involved on a region-wide tire cleanup event. Funding will be provided, and funding, once we contribute our money to the Development Council, the Development Council will be in charge of submitting and paying out a potential tire disposal company. This is a way of us leveraging our county monies with the Development Council to gain more resources for the abatement of scrap tires. I'll let Mr. Garza communicate briefly on the intent.
Before he starts, I'd also like to recognize Mr. Garza for completing the Ironman triathlon for like the sixth time? Six times.
Thank you,
awesome.
That explains why he's a little under the weather, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Thank you. First of all, I definitely want to recognize Mr. Salazar's leadership with this. Again, as he stated, we had $37,000 as a remainder for our biennium allocation from TCEQ. And we really wanted to explore a regional project, and we had a lot of discussions with folks from Hidalgo County, Cameron, Willacy. This is an epidemic issue across our region, so we're looking at this to be a kind of a pilot project, so to speak. So hopefully we can expose this issue a little bit more, create some awareness, and hopefully leverage some more funds in the future for this. But we're hoping through this project, approximately over $100,000 collectively, that we can put together a collection of about 40,000 tires across the valley. So it's going to be a large coordinated effort. We're looking at about 25 sites across the entire valley, And other cities have also shared some interest in terms of funding their own site for this to have additional capacity for this issue.
We recognize that the tires are one of the biggest advocates for flooding, and we want to make sure that we try to clean this up. It's also an area where mosquitoes breed and creates a safety issue. So
absolutely,
I'm total support of this program. Happy that you guys are leading the charge with it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And we'll be meeting with each of your offices to coordinate the specifics regarding the day of the event, the quantities, and the specifics. Thank you.
Awesome.
So we asking for an approval of the $37,000 allocation?
The interlocal agreement, correct.
Make a motion.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Judge, Commissioners, I'd like to go back to item, Mr. Silguero, item 9B.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Carlos Guerrero presenting on item 9B. Judge, 2 weeks ago we took no action on this item. There was a couple of issues that needed to be addressed. I do want to state that we're not studying the stepping grade plan. We studied it years ago. We're trying to implement. Let me read the item and I'll go on the items that need to be approved. It's all one item, if that's okay with you, Steve. It reads approval to proceed with the implementation of the Hidalgo County Classification and Compensation Plan, which is also called the Grade and Step Pay Plan, to include all county departments and offices as follows. It says approval of the revised classification position list. It's attached. We're going to give you a folder with that information. Approval of the classification pay table for the year 2017. And 3, approval to classify all county positions in accordance with items 1 and 2. I would like approval of that.
Wait a minute, before we even vote, should we look at this?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to, the packet, let me tell you what's in the packet. One, it's a little, the first page is the implementation process. This is not, today we're not implementing, we're beginning the implementation. Hopefully the implementation can be completed sometime in July. The first page lists the things that need to be completed. And let me just state first for the record that the classification of positions does not include all the county positions. Some are excluded by statute or law. For example, the county auditor's department is not included. The juvenile probation is not included. Court reporters will not be included. There are statutes that address how the salaries for those positions are set, so they will not be included. But the packet contains a list of the steps that need to be completed. It has a copy of the pay table. It has a copy of the classification position list, which includes 416 titles, and it has a list of departments by positions that are classified. So we have the elected officials departments. Obviously, elected officials are not included in the classification, and so there's 2,007 positions in elected offices, and of those, 763 are law enforcement that are already classified, and 1,200 are not law enforcement. Those will be classified. Of those, we have there will be a total of 1944 when you include the law enforcement that will be classified, and 63 that will not in elected offices.
I was going to ask you, Raul.
Yes, sir.
All the departments have grades of 21. None of them have below 21.
I'm sorry, sir.
The grades, the 21, right?
The grades, that pay table, the grades are from grade 1 to 21.
There's none of them that are below 21. They stop at 17 or 16 or 18.
The largest, basically what we have, Commissioner, and obviously we haven't completed the process. We're going to assign grades and titles to all the positions. The departments that report to Commissioner's Court that are not elected departments, you will make the final decision as to what grade the position is. We're recommending.
I feel that everybody should be at grade 21. What do y'all think? No. I mean the departments, not the employees. I mean every department should have up to 21 in grades, because there's some that are getting, say, so much money in they're not going to be able to advance anymore over the next 20 years because they're at grade 17 or grade 18, and that's all the 18. That's as much as they're grade.
Well, we have 11
it's gonna be
steps.
a cost of living.
We actually, Commissioner, what we're recommending is that departments be classified based on level of responsibility, based on complexity of the work that is assigned to the department. For example, I believe, Commissioner, that we could not assign the same grade and salary to the director of the Health and Human Services Department as to the manager of the Veterans Office, which, one of them has several hundred employees with multiple complex programs, and one has 4 or 5
But
employees.
what I'm trying to tell you, Raul, is there's some guys that are grade 17 or grade 16 or grade 15, and you only allow one grade above that, grade 16. For the next 20 years, they're only going to be able to advance one grade?
The departments, the lowest, I think it's 18, 19, 20, and 21. We have the higher responsible departments, the ones with the most responsibility we're recommending a
It
classification.
doesn't mean that you're going to give them so much raise. That means that they need to have that grade. I mean, because I don't think it's fair for somebody to be at grade 17 or grade 18 for the rest of their life and then get the guys that are up to 21 and they're at 14 right now and they'll keep on going up.
No, sir. Most of the departments that are going to be, or that we're recommending, the department heads that we're recommending at level 21 are already making a salary comparable to that. The ones that are at grade 10 are already making a salary comparable to that. The salaries already reflect the level of responsibility.
But there's some guys that are, for example, is there any department or any under any the executive office or anybody that's making 17 or 18 that are grade up to 18, 17?
Not department heads, no, sir.
No, I'm not talking department heads. For example, there's a department that's under, say, Valde. Valde, is there anybody behind, below you that's making that their grade is going to be up to 17, 18 or less?
Mr. Silguero, grade 17, step 1, step 2 is what? Do you recall?
Let me get my table. Well, Commissioner, when we're talking levels of department complexity, we're talking about the department head that's heading up the department, and the department head is going to be assigned a grade commensurate with his level of responsibility, his or hers. That's what we're talking about. Within each department, there's multiple grades based on the individual's assigned duties and responsibilities, and those basically are generally reflected already in their salaries. You have a department, for example, I'll take the Department of Budget and Management. You have the budget officer, who is the director of the department. They have a division manager for budget. They have a division manager for planning. They have a division manager for benefits, employee benefits. So the divisions will be graded accordingly, and they will differ from divisions in other departments. And that's the whole process of going through and meeting with the departments and identifying the correct title.
If we vote on this, that's going to be it, no?
No, sir. This is just to begin the process of classifying who will be coming to court to implement after the steps are put in place.
Commissioners, one of the things that we do have in the step and grade is the ability to do a regrade for a position. So if we have a position that's a grade 18 and the complexity of that job increases or something happens, we do have the ability to do a regrade during the budget process, and HR would do a study as well as our office would do a salary study to see if that position maybe warrants a bump in grade from an 18 to a 19. We would have that flexibility under this plan to be able to do that. So if for any reason there is a department head right now or even a division director, as Mr. Ciano mentioned, that's a grade 17, and because of changes in statutes or because of we bring that program, maybe increase that program, maybe like employee benefits and start doing wellness programs, start doing all of these things and increase the responsibility of that director, we would have the opportunity to regrade it and increase it to a 19 or a 20, depending on whatever studies and the results of those studies.
The only thing that worried me was if there's a young guy, say he's about 29, 30, he's already at step 17, and that's all you got. And he's got 10, 15 years good. How is he going to go ahead and stay at 17 for the rest of his
Commissioner, the jobs open up in departments all the time. People are not going to be, and you have a, let's say an entry-level accountant one. A person comes out of college, they go work in the auditor's office, an accountant one or an auditor one. During the course of their career, jobs are going to open up with greater responsibility, greater pay. The employee will be able to apply. They're not stuck in any one grade forever.
No. I'm not saying what if he doesn't want. If he wants to stay there, he's going to stay there on step 17 for the rest of his life.
On the grade, if that position is a grade 17, that's what the job is that the person wants to be in. Then there's a salary for that. Now, there's opportunity. There's another part of this process will allow for step increases for.
No. I understand. He could apply for something where the steps.
No. The steps are within that grade. There's a process that will give employees the opportunity to get step increases based on performance, tenure, and experience. That's another part of the plan. Yes, sir.
So just to clarify, I'm all for the step and grade, but the concern that I have, well, let me just reedify. So this is the beginning process of which we're hoping to complete by July. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, so in this case, you're going to start the process of assigning salary ranges or salaries for employees all throughout the ranks of the county.
We will take the employees current. I'll give you an example. We have an employee who is an executive assistant right now. They're titled Executive Assistant 3, and they have a certain salary. We're going to place that employee on a classified position. There may be no executives in that department for that person to be an assistant 2. So maybe the title is not the right one. So we're going to place positions into a title that best reflects their assignment, and then we're going to meet with the departments and go through each one to make sure that we have the right assignment.
And that's the only part that I'm concerned. So as long as you continue the process, working with department heads, elected officials, to make sure that it's a comprehensive process to assure that we're assigning appropriate salaries for appropriate positions.
Yes, if we look at the little handout, the first item is assign all current positions to a classified position from the classification position. Is then meet with all departments to review and agree on classification assignments and to reconcile differences.
Okay, Raul, let me go. You reference we. Who is we?
The Department of Human Resources and Budget.
And who else? Anybody else? So there's no longer a committee of. We assigned original committee.
So the committee gave us input into the planning and the design of the plan in terms of its components and in terms of its policies.
Okay, I'm gonna recommend to the court that at least a member of our
Mr. Guajardo wanted to make a comment. Maybe he can shift.
Well, just to elaborate a little bit, Commissioner,
Good morning, Mr. Guajardo.
Good morning. Good morning, Judge Commissioners. What was it, about 2 years ago, Raul, when we had that committee? It's been so long already.
Yeah.
But we did have a committee, and we met over the course of about a year and a half, and that included all the departments and all of the elected officials' offices, and we went through all the intricacies of how this would work and the steps and the grades and how people could be moved internally or how they could move laterally or they could move to another department. All those things were pretty clearly worked through. What I wanted to caution this court about today is because the first thing that I heard this morning was that there were certain departments that were exempt. I think that would not work. That's not good. We need to figure out a way to include everyone, whether there's a position that's by statute or whatever, but go ahead and put them in the classification table, because that will be the first thing towards this thing not working. We tried it last time, and we tried it with just a few departments. So we ran for about a year and a half with a few departments on it, and the other ones weren't on it, and it didn't work. So just a little bit of caution.
Well, and I'll agree with you. Similar like statute, if statute changes, you modify. Similar as COLAs and all the others.
But include everybody in this county. I mean, that's the only way this would work. Everybody across the board.
Agree.
Okay. That's all I wanted to say.
Have you had an opportunity? Thank you. Have you, Raul, had an opportunity to
next?
Let me wait for them to sit down before we welcome them. Have you had an opportunity, Raul, to visit with our district attorney? He was concerned about the lawyers.
Yes, I did, Judge. I met with the district attorney last week. We went over the plan. We explained how the plan would work, how it would impact his, and once he understood how the plan would work, I think his concerns were addressed, and he indicated to me that he was supportive of the plan and would work with us, and he wanted to be a team player, and he agreed that he could work with it. We also assured him that the plan in no way is going to box anybody in. We will have flexibility. Obviously, it's a big county, 3,000 positions. A county that has to comply with numerous statutes and rules and regulations. So there will be flexibility to allow any department so that his work is not impeded or impacted by any of our policies. So he was okay with that.
I would ask that you take that just a step further, and with respect to the accommodation, or at least the discussion that you had with the district attorney, and I'm not sure if you met with everybody here, but I know that when we met,
yes, sir,
the concerns that were brought up, I would just like for those things to be included within the policy itself.
Absolutely.
Because
yes,
any sort of verbal understandings between us, I think, is going to die with.
Of course, no, and Commissioner, when we finally complete the process, we will be coming back to court for approval of all the position assignments, for approval of the within the grade step increases, for approval of the policies and procedures, for approval of the whatever budget adjustments have to be made. So all of that will be done. This is the beginning of the process.
Raul,
yes, sir.
I've got to. Why can't we include one of the commissioners, to be in the committee? Commissioner Palacios would be. I would nominate Commissioner Palacios to be in the committee.
I think it's important because by the time you bring it to court, we're going to have a great degree of comfort and a great degree of understanding.
And Commissioner,
so it's hard when you bring something.
I envision having several workshops between we finally implement.
Great.
Where we will come and bring the components to you, and just like we do with the budget process. That's what I alluded to last week. That we will. It's a process. And it will culminate with the approval of the court after we go through a process and having workshops so that everybody is.
But still, I would like Commissioner Palacios to be included on the committee.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick comment. What makes me real comfortable through this whole process is that nobody's going backwards, and that everybody is going to be at least where they're at this point. So to me, that gives me the biggest comfort at all. And I know that there's going to be some flexibilities on certain things, but we've had people here for a long time, a short time. But nobody's going backwards, and
nobody's going backwards. Nobody is going to lose any salary. As a matter of fact, we will identify, and we have identified some positions that are undergraded or that should be adjusted up because they're underpaid. Now, nobody's going to lose any salary. There'll be some adjustments that will have to be made because the positions are not where they should be.
On the other side of the coin, we want to make sure by the time the objective is that we can fix what's been broken. And so when it does go back to the step and grade that legitimately should be, not that, that we can obviously see the benefit. And that's really the true benefit is if we can, right after, we have the turnover and these positions become open, now we legitimately bring them back to their designated salary.
That's where you'll
and
see
so
the benefit.
That's where the benefit is. So right. I'm grateful for one side, and I want to make sure that we can objectively get where we're hoping to get.
Right. And as I meet with departments, I hope to be able to work out all the classification with departments. There may be some disagreements, and those I was planning to come to court for reconciliation, have the department present their concerns and issues, and the court will have the final say-so.
Okay.
On that. Victor, you wanted to make a comment?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Mr. Silguero is correct. You did meet with the district attorney and a couple of members from our office. We did have some concerns with regards to the district attorney in particular as it relates to his attorneys to be able to have flexibility and the opportunity to move attorneys or hire attorneys within the DA's office because of the unique nature of the way the office is structured, not necessarily in line with titles, but rather in divisions and departments, and where a need may be in one division or the other. And certainly in our meeting
Mr. Rodriguez received assurances that this particular action today was an initial step, and he would have opportunities in the future to voice any concerns once a policy or a plan is promulgated and we had an opportunity to review with some understandings that were represented by Mr. Silguero that would address some other concerns that the district attorney's office had as well. So certainly we understand from that perspective that this is an initial step, that we will be working with budget and management as well as HR and a committee to make sure that there is appropriate titles to salaries to positions, especially for the attorneys in the district attorney's office, and then also review any following plan or program for the county.
Victor, and I had a good conversation with the DA, and I think what was important and what I understood from him is he gave specific examples, and I think so long as y'all can present those examples to Raul and work them out and make sure that they're going to flow the way y'all expect them to me they seem very, easy to follow. So I think that if you work on specific examples, we'll be fine.
We did bring up examples. We talked about hypotheticals. We looked at how
that's
it would
easier
impact
to do than just kind of this doesn't work.
That's right.
I mean, this doesn't work, doesn't give anybody anything to work with. Not the DA didn't say that at all. Right. He gave real good hypotheticals and experiences that he's had. So long as we have that, I think that Mr. Silguero and his staff can work with that.
I think so too, and we received assurances that those would be addressed throughout this process for the district attorney's office.
For sure.
And that's what I mean by including it in policy, because as we move on, as people change over time, we want to make sure that we define that policy.
All right. At this time, Raul, are you through?
No, what about,
but he
are
needs
you
action.
accept Commissioner Palacio in the committee?
Well, what I thought I would do, like I mentioned, I was hoping to have workshops as needed to get approval. I can certainly meet.
Let's just make sure that when you have the meetings, I'll be present at them.
Okay,
we'll work with you.
We can include.
I don't know why it's so hard. Just say yes. I mean, just say yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We all want the same thing, Raul. Don't worry about it.
We're all for the stepping grade. There's nothing against it.
No, not a problem, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from our auditor.
Okay. I got a concern that if you grant an approval of this listing, some of my positions are included and some are not. So I don't think this listing is complete.
Let me make a point. This is a draft list that will change as we meet with the departments. And number two, the key point here is there will be another list that's not part of this. It's going to be a list of non-classified positions. Again, there are some positions, and I know what Mr. Guajardo said, that there may be some positions that by law you do not set the salary. For example, juvenile probation, the Commissioner's Court does not set the salary for this position, so they wouldn't be in this list. The way the salaries are set, it's by the district judges. The court simply allocates a certain amount of money to the juvenile department, and then they set the salary. We have no say-so as to the same thing with the auditor. The district judges set the salary. Now, generally, Mr. Eufrasio in the past has followed the classification plan in the way he assigns salaries and titles to his staff, but by statute, it's the district judges who set the salary. So some of those things will be addressed like that.
But again, the listing includes some, and it doesn't include some other ones. So I guess later on you'll be modifying.
Absolutely.
Finalizing that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Raul, we got some important visitors we need to recognize.
Sir,
but we need action.
Was there an approval to proceed?
Not yet.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Can I skip over to Human Resources? I have an item.
No, you need to wait just a little bit.
Okay, sure.
They're on a time schedule.
Okay, not a problem.
Hold on. Steve, can you elaborate what you just disclosed?
I was just summarizing what Mr. Silguero said, that this list you're approving is going to be brought back to you more defined and refined to include more people once they're classified. So this is a very preliminary approval right now.
This is
That's
draft?
correct.
Yes, sir. You can call it draft. Approval of the draft, and then we'll.
You okay with that, on that motion, that it's
Sure.
the draft?
Yeah, that was what was understood,
Okay.
I thought. All right, at this time, we want to...
The DA has, the DA's here.
All right.
No, we got a motion.
Rick,
and a
good
second.
morning.
Judge, good morning, Commissioners.
I just want to stress that, I was in conversation and we did have a time to talk about the step and grade. And first, I want to say that we're not in opposition to it, but from the beginning, we were just asking for some time to be able to sit down and discuss, what is it that's going to happen, or Mr. Segredo is trying to, or all of us here are trying to accomplish, and that's all we're asking for. And knowing that, by allowing it to go forward today, that we still have the opportunity to come back and make any tweaks or changes that we might have to. So I just want to stress that and make sure that we're still allowed, to be able to come back and make any changes that we need to. And I respect every division. I respect every employee here in Hidalgo County as to their job descriptions and as to what they do. But obviously, with all due respect, we have some attorneys in our office that do great work, and as a public official, we have some duties and responsibilities that we have to comply with. And if we're not, that's why you're here, and then that's why we have law enforcement to intervene at any time. But I just want to stress that, we did talk and we do want to move forward, but cautiously. And that's all I'm asking for, that we still have the opportunity to come back.
We don't expect to have a final vote on this matter until sometime in July.
Yes, sir.
Between now and then, we're going to have some workshops, and this is the initial draft, and I'm sure there'll be others between now and then.
Yes, sir. And we did discuss some policies that we want included in the step and grade, and hopefully we can accomplish that, and with that we can move forward.
And Judge, I've committed to be in those discussions with you and Mr. Seguero on those types of issues.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. May I be excused?
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Judge, you got a motion and a second. I think
we
voted.
Did
you call the vote already?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Were you okay, Joseph?
Right. No, I'm good with it. I just didn't say
At this time,
aye.
we're going to make time to recognize these important people that just walked in, the future residents, future leaders of Hidalgo County. There are students from Waits Elementary in Mission, Texas. And I understand they want to take a picture up front. So if you will step forward.
Oh, Judge, I think they have a representative speaker of the school.
Oh, good.
Rita.
Good morning.
Rita, you want to move the
Lower that, mijito, so we can hear you.
Good morning.
Okay, now you're going to have to wait for the rest of the students to step forward.
Should be precinct.
Okay.
Good morning. I want to thank you for allowing us to experience county government in action. As fourth graders, Ms. Guerra has taught us about county government and social studies.
What is your name, sir?
Ryan Long.
Well, welcome. This is the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court. Your county government at work.
Judge, Commissioners, Rita, do you want to recognize the other teachers and professionals?
Hi, my name is Pastor, fourth grade teacher. She teaches math and science, social studies, and then we have Mrs. Esquivel. She's over there reading, and then we have Miss Villanueva for math, and then we have other helpers that help us throughout the year. We have Ms. Betancourt, Ms. Salazar, and Ms. Gaitan. They help throughout the year, helping us with the kids in and out teaching and tutorials, whatever we need.
We still have students walking in.
Yeah, we're a big bunch.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, we're 85.
While they walk up here, what are some of the points y'all taught them about county government?
This year we did a a mock election for the presidency. We talk about how we came, it's basic Texas history.
Okay.
So how Texas came about.
They might also want to know that on Thursday night on Channel 10, that at 8 o'clock they will be on television.
Should we get them up here for a
Thank
picture?
you very
Yes.
Maybe you can get a picture.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
The good news is they can stand
Yeah.
in front
Style
of
real
us.
quick. Sit down.
The very top.
You're going to sit real quick.
No, we'll have them stand first.
Group picture. Quickly. They know what to do.
Good looking pair of glasses.
Turn around. Face camera.
You have to have some sit down with some people not very both.
Julie, you wanna sit the ones in front or kneel him down or something?
Everybody, children, listen up. If you can't see me, we can't see you. The camera can't see you. So get between somebody's shoulders, okay? Hold on.
Everybody look up front, right here. If you can't see me, you don't come out in the picture.
She wants a picture of herself or that?
She's going to sing. She's going to sing something from the
Okay.
I think.
She needs to get on the speaker, the mic over there.
But she won't come out on TV unless she gets on the mic.
Put a stand her on a chair.
Stand her on a chair.
Okay. Just sing like that. So you can come on TV, maybe.
Put her on a chair.
Okay?
Go ahead and stand up. And then you hang on to her.
Yeah.
So, and this is for the mothers of the audience, and okay.
Okay, ready?
What's your name?
Say your full name.
Whenever you're ready.
Say your name.
Nailin.
Okay. Ready? Go.
Tú eres la tristeza y de mis ojos, que lloran en silencio por tu amor. Me miro en el espejo y veo en mi rostro el tiempo que he sufrido por tu adiós. Obligo a que te olvide el pensamiento, pues siempre estoy pensando en el ayer. Prefiero estar dormida y que despierta, de tanto que me duele que no estés. Como quisiera, ay, que tú vivieras, que tus ojitos jamás se hubieran cerrado nunca y estar mirándolos, amor eterno e inolvidable. Tarde o temprano estaré contigo para seguir amándonos.
Thank you very much.
Sign her up.
She needs to come every week.
Okay, Judge, if I may, we were back on, we've already done item B. Mr. Seguero presented that. Mr. Seguero, that was B 1, 2, and 3, correct?
Yes. Correct.
Okay, Mr. Salazar has a slight correction or to make on
Thank you,
this.
Judge Commissioners. Item 9C2. We have previously approved the interlocal, but legal has reminded me that there's a slight modification to the interlocal, so I'd like to approve it subject to that modification.
Second.
Thank you.
Oh, let me have a second, guys.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And just very quickly, we do have a request from the Edcott Elsa Rotary Club for permission to utilize the Delta Lake Park for the Delta Lake Summer Kickoff Festival to be held on May 20th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They have submitted all the appropriate paperwork and insurance requirements that we require.
For approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item E, there is no action today. Item F, I'm asking the court to accept a settlement check in the amount of $1,000, and this is in connection with Hidalgo County versus Tomasa Keith and Michael Martinez.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And for 9A and B, given the lengthy agenda we still have, there's no action today. And Mr. Delgado, you have 10A, Human Resources?
Yes. 10A for Human Resources. This is for the Sheriff's Department, the jail commissary. This is commissary money. It's discussion, consideration, and approval of the following personnel actions effective 5/29/2017. The action is to delete, requesting to delete slot 0007, clerk 3, at a salary of $26,958, and to create slot 0018, a detention officer, step 1, at a salary of $32,305.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the item B, 10B, for the District Attorney's Office. This is for the Victims Assistance Program grant. This is discussion, consideration, approval to create one regular full-time intake clerk position. I have a new revised job description, slot number G004, budgeted salary $27,000, effective next full pay period, the date of 5/29/2017. This is within the existing funds of that grant. So there's no additional monies that are required.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And Commissioner Palacios, I'll be sure to include you in the reconciliation process with every department as we go
Just to
through.
work along with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
We
sir.
want the same thing.
Judge, Commissioners, I want to clarify something. I said no action on item 9A and B. I meant 9A, 1, and 2 because there was action taken on 9B. That's just a clarification. Ms. Serna?
Good morning, Commissioners.
We have one item on the agenda today, and it is calling for the opening of a public hearing. And this public hearing will be to consider comments from the public regarding a change at Precinct 4. Commissioner Cante, would you like to open up the public hearing?
At this time, we'll open up a public hearing. If anyone has a comment regarding this item, please come forward.
If I may, the item consists of the elimination of funding, additional funding to Sunflower Park and Brewster Park from funding years 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, which translates to 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016. The park is almost complete. As Sunflower Park and Commissioner has requested that the budget and program amendment be conducted to include J.R. Milo Ponce Park improvements in each of these fiscal years.
Yeah, I'd like to comment if I may. We are in the process of expanding our public lands and parks by 400%. We are rehabbing our existing park. All these parks are strategically placed in a rural populous area, and we're looking forward to completing Sunflower as well as starting construction of Brewster Park and the renovation at Milo Ponce. These are parks that are heavily used, or at least the existing one. The future one, well, the communities are waiting for it, so we're looking forward to it. This will help us complete all three of these parks utilizing urban county funds and a combination of some capital outlay dollars.
If there's no one wishing to make a public comment, we'll close the public hearing.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item 11A2 is requesting the approval of the program amendment for Hidalgo County Precinct Number 4 for the inclusion of J.R. Milo Ponce Park.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Eddie, number 12.
Morning, Commissioners. Eddie Olivares, Hidalgo County Health and Human Services. I have item 12A, requesting approval to rescind action taken on 3/22/2016 on item Alpha India A153763 that approved the interlocal cooperative agreement between the County of Hidalgo and Mission School District, Independent School District. What we're doing, we're rescinding one and we're bringing in a new one. So we updated it. So that's the rescension, is to remove the old one and bring the new one.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
So item 2 now is requesting consideration and approval of the interlocal cooperative agreement between the County of Hidalgo and Mission School District, Independent School District. The purpose of the agreement is public health preparedness and response. This is to be a point of dispensary that the City of Mission, in the event of a large scale, the Mission School District, in the large scale of an event, that they can help assist with providing some of their campuses to assist us deal with dispensing in case of a public health emergency. That's what the agreement's about.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
So this next item, I'm excited to bring this forward, but I'm also a little embarrassed, but I want to bring it up and explain. Requesting approval of the master's internship agreement between Texas A&M University and Hidalgo County. The purpose of this agreement is to provide an on-site educational experience to students enrolled in community health. Now, what I want to explain here, we have a young man named Michael Gomez, this is the first time that we do this community health program through College Station in A&M in College Station. And this young man is looking at doing a 480-hour internship this summer before he graduates in August. The only thing, sir, is that I'm bringing this before you, but I forgot a step to bring the internship form. But we're going to bring that back in a couple of weeks with your all's approval. But this is the interlocal agreeing with the university to do. This is the first time venue that we go with A&M on this particular college of support. So we ask for your support and guidance. I think it's a great opportunity to enhance exposure of our county operations to many students who are seeking higher education.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, next item, sir, is item 12C, and I'd like to have Vice President Veronica Gonzalez and Dr. John Renaud come forward. This one, sir, is discussion and update on the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley and Hidalgo County projects involving community resource centers. This has been a very important part of what we're looking at, enhancing healthcare and access to healthcare, along with education and awareness. And Vice President Gonzalez, please.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you so much for the partnership that you have engaged in with the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. I think it's going to be life-changing for a lot of people living in areas that have the most need. We are already seeing results, and Dr. Renaud has been actively working on these projects and all these community hubs, and is going to give you an update on that. But we want you to know that our mission, one of our core principles, is community engagement at the university. And it's no longer that people have to come to the university to receive that engagement, but that the university goes out into the community to provide solutions to problems that people have, whether they're issues with drainage, issues with literacy, issues with health. And we know that that exists throughout the entire county. So thank you again for your partnership, and I'll allow Dr. Renaud to give you an update.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. My name is John Renaud, Senior Associate Dean for Interprofessional Education with UTRGV School of Medicine. It was a couple of months we came before you with a report, and we asked your permission to come back periodically to update you. We appreciate the opportunity to do so. I still feel very strongly that the partnership that UTRGV is developing with the Hidalgo County is a national model. To my read on what's out there, no county has the level of partnership that you all do with our university. There are several projects having substantial positive impact on enhancing health care in South Texas now and in the years to come that, with your support and approval, we have initiated. All of these projects are only possible and are the direct result of our partnership between Hidalgo County and UTRGV. I especially want to recognize and thank Mr. Eddie Olivares, Chief Administrative Officer for the Health Department for Hidalgo County, and his staff. None of these partnerships would have happened without our working together. Just as in a way of updates, we have what we refer to as a Community University Partnership, also known as UTRGV Hubs, in Precinct 3 with the support of Commissioner Flores. We're working in Peñitas with Proyecto Desarrollo Humano with Sister Santiago Fatima and her staff, and Dr. Mona Pares in the Commissioner's office has been very, very supportive there. In El Paraíso, we are also working with Dr. Pares, exploring the use of that facility with the Commissioner's support. In the meantime, we're using the facility in the city of Alton, the Community Resource Center, under the direction of Mr. Sam Mercado. He has been very, very supportive. In Precinct 2, with Commissioner Cantu's support, we're working in Alamo at the Alamo Community Resource Center with Mr. Rogelio Astudillo. The Community Resource Center Director has been very supportive. In Precinct 4, we're working with the support of Commissioner Palacios in San Carlos. In the Community Resource Center, Ms. Alicia Rodriguez, the CRC Director, has been a fantastic partner. In the way of accomplishments in those hubs and partnership locations, we have completed what we call community asset mapping, looking at the strengths and resources in each of those communities, and there are many of them. We have also started, with cooperation of the community members and the CRC directors, looking at needs in each of those communities. We have assigned interprofessional teams to each of those communities, and those teams are made up of students of all 7 colleges at UTRGV, plus students from the School of Medicine. We have conducted the follow-up health promotion clinics, a follow-up to the April 2nd Together for Our Health event, which was held at the McAllen Convention Center. The county was very involved in that event. We provided almost 400 free health screenings at that event, and then subsequently we have held mini health promotion clinics in all 4 of the communities I just mentioned to you, and over about 125 additional free health screenings have been conducted. With the nurse practitioner program has been very, very helpful there. We have conducted public service projects in each of those communities. We're meeting with the CRC directors to plan summer activities and to plan a year-out calendar. That's one of our lessons learned this year, to plan a year ahead whenever possible. And in August, we're planning, again in cooperation with the county, a summit on interprofessional education and community engagement. We are, in addition, the School of Medicine is developing what we call SCOPE clinics. SCOPE is an acronym standing for Student Continuity of Practice Experience Clinics, basically primary health care clinics where Not only will we provide medical services to people in the colonias that we're working with in your communities, but also great educational opportunities for our medical students and our residents. As far as a reminder about additional very, very important partnerships we have with you, of course, the John Austin Pena Clinic with the School of Medicine under the direction of Dr. Manusoff, providing services to adolescents with triple diagnosis and their families. We're developing the preventive medicine residency that starts this summer in cooperation with the County Health Department under direction of Dr. Krishna Swamy. The nursing department has primary care clinics in your facilities under the direction of Dr. Mary Diaz. Operation Lone Star, we're continuing to partner on. We're getting ready for that. Again, we'll send our medical students. It's a great learning experience for them, plus they provide some services. Also, our medical residents will be there and other disciplines from the College of Health Affairs. We're developing an arboviral testing lab, an idea that only through the direction of Mr. Olivares and his cooperation over the last 2 years. And, of course, in Precinct 1, we have the Indian Hills Clinic under the direction of Dr. Manusoff and others, thanks to the support of Commissioner Fuentes. That arbo testing lab hopefully will go live within a month or two. And a couple of months ago, we asked for your support for an application to HRSA to develop AHEX in South Texas. We're still waiting to hear about that, but if that happens, we'll be able to develop primary care clinics in each of the 8 communities in South Texas, including each of the ones I mentioned to you. So with Vice President Gonzalez, we want to again thank you for your support and your partnership, and Mr. Olivares and his staff.
Any questions, Judge, Commissioners?
I'd like to thank them for all their hard work, but one of the things that I didn't hear was CRC representation for some of those medical services being provided in Precinct 1. So wherever possible, I know in Progreso and Monte Alto, we have a couple of centers that really could use the help. Sure. I know the constituents in those areas would be really grateful. So if there's a possibility, Mr. Pepe Cabeza de Vaca in our office would be happy to provide you any information that may assist with delivering some of those services in our area as well.
Pepe has done a great job. I mean, he's already come forward and talked to Dr. Renault, talked to several folks. We're looking at a couple of sites and expansion there, and it's just getting ready to get the teams operational out there, sir. We are looking forward to being Precinct 1.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was the report on that item, and I appreciate UTRGV's support on a lot of this. Item D, sir, with your permission, is requesting approval to submit grant renewal application for tuberculosis federal FY18. Program amount is in the amount of $437,771 in grant funds and $87,555 in local match, which has already been reviewed with the budget office and part of the budgetary process. The the allocation period will be from January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. This is level funding as indicated for that year through the 18.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E, sir, discussion or action, including but not limited to a healthcare funding district. There isn't anything there unless you have any questions. Item 2, let me pass this out real quick. All right, item 2 is discussion and approval of County Indigent Healthcare Program Level 2 pilot program for fiscal year 9/1/17 through 8/31/18. This is a pilot program that we've been discussing and reviewing. I'd like to kind of give you a brief overview on it and to look at this. The County Indigent Healthcare Level 2 pilot program, the county is looking at fiscal year September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2018. The county used to provide up to $12 million a year for indigent health care. The county is currently providing $5.5 million to provide intergovernmental transfers under the 1115 Transformation Waiver Program to cover hospital uncompensated care. The majority of the multiplied funds are used for hospital services, and a portion of the funds is used to cover the current indigent health care program for individuals under the 21% federal poverty guideline level. whereas the 1115 waiver program is mandated by CMS, Center for Medicaid Services, and HHSC, Health and Human Services Commission for Texas, for hospital transformation, this proposed pilot program would be used for preventative health care. The program is being established under the direction of Commissioners Court in order to provide medical homes and basic health care assistance to an underserved population of the county that may not otherwise receive any medical assistance. The income level for this program would be limited to those who are under the 50% federal poverty guideline level and who do not have any other source of payment for such services, Medicaid, Medicare, county indigent, private insurance. The program is intended to provide a preventative care service to cover medical expenses, including lab work, medication, diabetic supplies, to those who qualify based on the income, residence, household compensation, and resources in accordance to Chapter 61 of the Texas Health and Safety Code. Each enrolled member under this pilot program would have a maximum benefit of per fiscal year of $3,000. The County Indigent Health Care Level 2 pilot program is intended to run from September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2018. This program will be administered by the current staff and the Health and Human Services Department, Indigent Services Division, and eligibility will be determined at the 4 of the county's health clinics, locations in Wesco, Farr, Mission, and Edinburgh. Funding for this program is proposed at a capitated rate of $1 million to be used out of general fund and will be prorated from September 2017 to December 2017 at approximately $333,000. I think Mr. Cruz is looking at $400,000 just to round it up, but it will be looked at that area. This pilot program has a limited budget, therefore, if funds are exhausted, the program will cease until new funding becomes available. The county has various partnerships with UTRGV, medical school, and the interprofessional educational programs. This focus on enhancing the access to health care via the community resource centers, county clinics, and various community partners, i.e. Proyecto de Desarrollo and others that have been mentioned earlier by the university. Again, this is a pilot project. We've been meeting over several meetings with the chiefs of staff from each of the precincts to the judge's office. This was in response to providing some assistance. It will never be able to provide all the assistance that is necessary, but this is a pilot program to explore the possibility of enhancing services to the people who are in need in our community. Again, this is very much an effort to assist those who are in need, in greatest need. And again, this is just an exploration to determine whether this is something that's feasible for the years to come. With this, I'll open to questions or comments.
Just looking forward to it, Eddie, just to see with $1 million what kind of benefit we can get, what kind of bang for our buck. I'm expecting a great amount of benefit. And at some point, hopefully, with the help of the UT RGV Medical School, we'll even be able to get additional funds. And so at this point, until we run this program, we won't really know the true benefit, but it looks like it's kind of low-hanging fruit where we can provide more opportunities for our residents to create medical homes in the area that they live in.
Yes, sir. And this is again, there was a lot of effort put forth, and there was a lot of questions earlier this year asked about providing support and assistance. And this is a good faith effort to try to see what we could do and establish a program. We don't know the impact. I feel the impact is going to be positive. We were already working with Ms. Salazar and working with others on pharmaceutical costs, on other programs. So looking at that, our goal to start this September 1, that's going to give us time to coordinate some last-second things that we need to look at. We're working with local physicians, working with the local pharmacy partners, and different things that we need to do to make this thing happen.
Eddie, you mentioned coming out of the general fund and the tune of this year $333,000.
Correct.
I guess my question will be to budget. Have you isolated that exact funding from the general
Mr.
fund?
Cruz,
the fact that we didn't adopt this during the budget cycle.
One of the things that we have been discussing, Mr. Cruz and his staff have been part of the meetings and discussing this. I know there's been some discussion. And the budget office has looked at, he'll explain.
Commissioner, what we had discussed during the meetings is that we would use the second quarter salary sweep to be able to fund this item. We do anticipate that we should receive in excess of the $400,000 that we're looking for this program. We also have another reserved amount under the 1115 waiver that we can also utilize for this, as long as we don't utilize it for any type of matching programs. And this would be strictly a county, 100% county-funded program, so we would be able to utilize it for that. So yes, we have identified the funding for that for this fiscal year. And then we'll discuss during the budget process the funding level for next fiscal year, which during the discussions of this program, we were looking at possibly increasing that for the next cycle.
Eddie, why don't you, we're going to be currently with people that qualify for indigent care are under 21% of the poverty guideline.
Correct.
Poverty guideline. We're going to increase that
up to 50%. But I got to differentiate. The program we have currently under 1115 waiver, that is one program that's totally separate.
That's going to stay at 21.
That's going to, as of right now, there's a proposal to look at that changing, but that's yet to come to court and review. But for right now, one of the proposals was looking at increasing that up to 30, but that's up to review and subject to Commissioner's Court action.
And that will come back in September if we're going to do that.
If we're going to do that. But this program will be totally independent from what we're doing with that program. This is separate and unique, and it will be administered by the county itself and not through our hospital partners or others. That would be just a county administered program. And efforts to, I know $3,000 a year doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of people, but you'd be surprised how many people can get some type of service, partner with some of the things we're doing with UTRGV, that at least they'll get access to some of the medical support, some of the health care, at least some preventative measures. It's an effort to try to get folks and keep folks out of the hospital. Absolutely. Because right now, they're showing up to ER rooms and showing up to these places. If we could get some basic health care going and preventative health care, it may actually keep our uncompensated level numbers down by trying to help some people.
What is the amount of money that is up to 50% of the poverty guideline?
Up to 50%, I need to look at, Irene, want to look at 50% would be how much? I want to say right now we're looking at, it's like $4,800 is 21% of family of four. I think 50% would be how much, Lulu? Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Good morning. Lulu Acevedo with Hidalgo County Health and Human Services. Depends on the number of household recipients, but monthly, give you a rough estimate for a household of four would be $1,025 for the 50% federal poverty income.
So that would be about $13,000 a year, approximately, más o menos.
So the target population is between people that are earning between 4,000 that we presently have and 13,000 that we're trying to
help.
People that fall into that category.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's our goal, to try to help some of the working poor and some of those folks who make a little bit too much to fall under indigent care, but are still not making it for their health care overall.
And I want to thank Lulu and Irene. For
They're
doing all this work within, they have all their other responsibilities, and we're trying to do this with the current staff that we have, and so we're doing a whole new project with existing staff. So that's a tremendous effort on y'all's part. Thank you, Lulu. Thank you, Irene.
Yeah, Irene and Lulu, their group is outstanding, and this would not be an enhancement on programming.
Richard Montes Yoka. I'd like to ask if the program would include the local health clinics, because the only thing that I've heard now is that it would include the hospitals.
No.
That's inaccurate.
No, this would be Hidalgo County Health Clinics, the 8 clinics we have, along with the CRCs that we're looking at once we get UTRGV engaged with CRCs. Now, this also would include the physicians. Right now, local physicians, it would be like a medical home setup. So we're going to invite, if this is approved by court, we would ask local physicians who want to participate in this, they can. And so if patient X goes to Dr. Y and says, hey, I got this indigent healthcare program up to this much a year, if Dr. X wants to help patient Y, good to go. And the county will compensate. And we're using the Medicaid cost rate. It's the same structure what Medicaid uses. And we're not changing the cost structure from indigent care. It's the same cost structure. It's set forth by Chapter 61.
One of the other important things is that we have a lot of the free clinics in one concentrated area. We have Hope and El Milagro, and they're all within one area. And what this will do is allow us to branch out and get in the outskirts of all the other precincts and allow all the other residents, because not a lot of people can get to those, and they're all in Precinct 2, but not a lot of people can get to those. So we're going to get out into the community, out into the rural, out into all the other precincts, and hopefully this will allow these individuals to create a medical home.
That's correct, sir. That's correct. And it really expands the availability of any local physician who wants to participate. They're welcome to participate, sir. I mean, that's a big deal.
Awesome.
Commissioner, I think it's a great deal. I think the access to care is an issue in regards to our rural population. I was going to make note of that Hope and Milagro, it being consolidated to certain areas within certain areas which provide a problem for those that are coming from longer distance from the rural area. I like the approach. The pilot is great, just to kind of do it this year and see what it does, see the benefit of it. I could only see a benefit.
Yes, sir.
And we do have a lot of working poor out there. And so if we're providing more access to care and partnering with UTRGV and some of the others, that could potentially help control the cost, obviously, and give them a service. I think it's a great thing. One of the things I'd like to try to figure, and I see Sergio there, as we're continuing this year, and it's early on now, but I think it's a perfect time for us to look at a comprehensive budget reform in regards so that we can start looking at everything that we're doing to assure that we're looking at healthcare, we're looking at infrastructure, we're looking at M&O and all, in hopes that we can give something back to every taxpayer as well. I'd like to see if we can drop a cent on our tax rate. I'd like to see if we can do our due diligence in the better years. We balanced the budget last year. This year, I'm very optimistic that you could see the growth go on all around our community in all sectors of our precinct, of our county. And it's something that I had the conversation with some of the board members as well to really give it our due diligence this year in light of balancing a budget last year. In hopes that we give all taxpayers something back as well, along with the medical and all sorts of stuff. It's a hope that we can hopefully start early, Sergio, and look at the possibility.
Well, sir, we're being told right now, I believe, that this will not impact our desire to go ahead and cut our tax rate by that 1 cent. Am I correct, Sergio?
With the start of this program?
That we're going to be able to do both.
Correct.
Okay.
Good.
So again, I guess a healthier community, a healthier residency means more prosperous employment, more prosperous education and graduation, and in return it increases our economic development in our county by having a healthier community. So I really like to thank the Commissioner's Court, specifically Commissioner Cantú, Commissioner Palacios, and all the chiefs of staff from every precinct have taken part in all the meetings. Mr. Crane has actually been in many of the meetings, along with representation from Budget Office, and Mr. Guerra has been at the meetings and been very supportive. So I thank all of you for at least looking at this venture and this pilot program to make an effort to try to help some of these folks.
Can we approve A, B, and C?
Move for approval.
Go ahead.
Of F2, A, B, and C.
It'll just be A and B.
Oh, excuse me, A and B.
Yeah.
C will take no action. We'll bring an item later on.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you, Eddie.
Judge, Commissioners, there's no action under item 13A. So we have our Head Start program. Item 14.
Yes, good morning. We have our nutrition contest, which teaches nutrition and cultural awareness and tries to get healthier food eating at home, and parent participation is very big. I'm just going to name the contest winners. In first place, we have UTRGV Head Start Center. We have Western Road, FAR, Mission 2, and Edinburgh 5. Second place, we had Progreso, San Juan 1, Las Milpas, San Juan 2, and Ed Couch. Third place, we have Monte Alto, Mission 3, Sullivan, Donna 1, and Palm Butte 2. It's highly involved with parents participating with projects at home and all in trying to teach better nutrition, healthy eating habits. No approval is needed. The next one is the recruitment report, and this one doesn't require approval either. We have 3,690 children that we must recruit. Currently, we have 5,799. We're in the process of getting the applications done. 1,915 are returnees. And then we have a waiting list. Every year we go through this process, and staff does a great job of the recruiting process. Out of the 3,690 children, every classroom next year, 185 will have our teachers and will have district teachers in them. 108 classroom teachers from the districts will be coming to our classrooms. And we're in the final process of getting all districts in partnerships with us. We're very pleased that that's going to happen. It's going to help our children. We've had the partnerships for a long time, but we're moving into all other ISDs. The next one.
Before you move on, I'd just like to applaud that effort, because school districts are under real tight budgets, and the state has cut their programs tremendously, and Head Start has become an answer to that problem by providing the 3- and 4-year-old programs for that half day that the school district doesn't get any funding for. And especially for the low-income housing and getting that education in those children early on, because we know education for all kids, the earlier they start, the better it is. Right. So I'd like to applaud the Head Start program and Commissioner's Court for supporting that and allowing for those interlocals to occur, and allowing school districts to work with our Head Start programs to make sure that we get those classroom teachers into the schools. But it's not just the children and being in the interlocal, but it's them providing the resources and the appropriate teaching materials to make sure that we do that. So this cost-sharing approach and the collaboration with school districts is a great thing, and thank you for continuing that.
Thank you. We do everything together, and we're in the process of moving into some of their buildings. Weslaco is opening their doors in one of their schools, and we'll be moving a center into one of their schools, which are better facilities than we offer right now. So we're in the process of trying to get to do that. But the effort of individualizing instruction, all of the children will be dual enrolled. They'll be enrolled in the school district, and they'll be enrolled with us. So it generates funding for the school district also. So thank you for your support, and I know that you were in our meetings when we went and moved into Weslaco. And again, everyone in the board and the commission plays a role in this. We come to you with the MOUs all the time, and so we're bringing the one where we're expanding into a school school campus at San Juan Alamo, and that would be the MOU for extending what we call the Memorandum of Understanding having to do with the integrated school readiness model, and we're moving into Carmen Anaya Elementary with 4 classrooms in there. And in the Weslaco, we'll be moving into 6, but this is the MOU for PSJA, and it does need your approval.
So, move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Item 15, our WIC program.
Judge, let me ask, do we have a representative from WIC in the audience? Judge, could we just pass this for right now? Let me make a phone call, given that this is a internship, and this must be supervised internship. So if we could go on to planning department.
All right, we'll move on to item 16, our planning department.
Good afternoon, Judge Commissioners. TJ Adelona for the record. First item is requesting approval to name road located approximately 1,200 feet south of Minnesota Road and east of Veterans Road as Alessandra Service Road. This is a private road. It was approved by the 911 department of the LRGVDC. We're recommending approval.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Next, item 2A, we're requesting no action. I got some items pending on that still. Item 3A, preliminary approval for Fernando Gonzalez subdivision precinct 3. It's a 2-lot subdivision located in a flood zone X. There will be reconstruction of North Dauphin roadside ditch. It was approved by the City of Mission. There will be water via Agua Sud, sewer via septics, and Dauphin Road is paved. Is paved. We're recommending preliminary.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Next item is Ranchito Mio subdivision precinct 3. It's a 2-lot subdivision located in a flood zone C. They are proposing reconstruction of Lucky Eye roadside ditch. It was approved by the City of Mission. There will be water via Sherryland, sewer via septics, and Lucky Eye Road is paved. Recommending approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item for final approval, 4A, we're recommending no action also. Next item, 4B, is Water Loss number 16, Precinct 3, is an 18-lot subdivision in the Flood Zone C. There is a storm drainage pipe system discharging into Linda Vista Drain Ditch. It was approved by the City of Mission. There will be water via Sheridan Water Supply Corporation, sanitary sewer by the City of Mission. Trosper Road and 2 internal streets have been paved by the developer. I'm recommending final approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item is Huisache Acres number 12 subdivision, Precinct 4, is a 55-lot subdivision in a Flood Zone C. There is a storm drainage pipe system and detention via widening of the existing drain ditch. It's in the rural area of the county. There will be water via North Alamo Water Supply, sewer by septics. Canton Road, Valverde Road, and 3 internal streets have been paved by the developer. We're recommending final approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Last item is final approval with financial guarantee. Lantana Acres number 8 subdivision in Precinct 1 is a 58-lot single-family lot subdivision located in the Flood Zone X. They are proposing a storm drainage pipe system and detention by widening the existing drain ditch. It's in the rural area of the county. There will be water via North Alamo Water Supply. 58 septic tanks to be installed. Mile 22.5 North Road and 3 internal streets are to be paved. We're recommending final approval with a letter of credit in the amount of $894,405.56 to secure the subdivision construction improvements. We're recommending final approval with financial guarantee.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
But was there one that you said I had to abstain?
Yes, that was under the consent agenda, which you did, Commissioner. And I'm sorry, Ms. Mona, if I may.
Yes.
Judge Commissioners, getting back to WIC, I apologize. Just
No, it's okay.
Getting back to WIC, I did talk to our WIC director, so I am asking the court to take action on the request to approve Ms. Ruby Garcia, Texas WIC dietetic intern, to complete 24 hours of supervised practice at the Hidalgo County WIC Lactation Center during the period of July 12th through the 14th of 2017. She will be supervised by an individual at the McAllen Center who does have the credentials for the supervision.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Again, I apologize, Ms.
It's
Mona.
okay,
Thank you so
sweetie,
much.
not a problem. Good morning. Item 17A, authorization to submit the Economically Disadvantaged County Program application and affidavit for the Liberty Boulevard from US 83 to Mile 3 Line Project, CSJ 0921-02-194, with authority for county judge to sign all required documentation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 17B1, requesting approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement between the City of Mission and the County of Hidalgo to overlay certain roads which are connecting link to the county road system.
Okay, Victor, did you get all the interlocals lined up?
Yeah, I checked with Norm. Everything's supposed
Steve,
to be.
everything's in order?
Everything's in order.
All right, thank you.
Everything's in order.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 17B2, in accordance with Section 791.014 of the Texas Government Code, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement project to overlay certain roads which are connecting link to the county road system, such road more particularly described on Exhibit A attached to the interlocal cooperation agreement.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 18, Precinct 4.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
This is an item requesting approval of claim for the following with authority for County Treasurer to issue payment after review and auditing procedures are completed by County Auditor, which would be $148.49 to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 19, our Budget Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner, Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 19A1, the presentation of the 2018 budget process calendar. Judge, Commissioners, again, it's the time of year where we begin the deliberations regarding the development of our budget for 2018. I just wanted to share with the court the proposed calendar that we have for 2018. Some of the key dates that we do have is we will be sending out notices to the departments regarding the budget development criteria, and also we will be opening up the budget application program for data entry at the beginning of June. That'll give us enough time to start doing analysis and then preparing the budget workshops, hopefully beginning towards the end of July and going on through September. As far as the budget adoption, we're looking to submit the proposed budget on September 19th and then adopting the budget the subsequent week on September 26th. Again, this is just the planning template for the budget process, the calendar. There's no action needed on this item. On item 19A2 is approval of the 2018 budget development criteria. Judge Commissioners, again, this is the criteria that we're going to be using in developing our budget. Again, if there's any other items that the court would like to see, we can certainly add that to the budget development criteria and then communicate that out to the departments and to the elected officials. That way they know what the court will be expecting as far as when we submit the proposed budget in September. One of them would be to look at providing for a cost of living adjustment, and that would be done in accordance with the Consumer Price Index, any increases within the Consumer Price Index. And again, all of this would be also subject to availability of funds regarding the certified revenues that the auditor certifies. Again, we would again be looking at presenting a budget that would not have any tax increase. Commissioner Palacios, you mentioned just right now recently about looking at reducing the tax rate, possibly a penny or somewhere to that level. I know the judge has communicated that as well previously, and so has Commissioner Cantu. So we will be looking at the different scenarios as far as what level we could maybe present some type of budget reduction or tax rate reduction for this next fiscal year. Again, there's also other methods, not just a tax rate decrease, but we could also look at adopting some type of homestead exemption, and we'll work with the tax office to present those scenarios, what that would mean to the taxpayers as far as property tax relief for the taxpayers of Hidalgo County. One other item, the other items that we have is we will be looking at having no personnel increases. Again, we will have, if we're going to be looking at providing tax relief for the residents, and then we also have some significant capital improvement projects, which would include the county courthouse, and it also includes over $20 million of possible road projects that we would be able to partner with TxDOT on doing, which would leverage significant more dollars, and possibly we would end up doing possibly about $100 million worth of projects where the county only participates at a 20% level, and for most of the projects it's actually like at around a 10 to 15% level. So we'll be leveraging significant funds. In order for us to do that, we would need to stick to no increases in personnel or try to limit that as much as possible. Again, that's one of our biggest cost drivers as far as in developing our budget is whenever we have new positions or increases in salaries. That's usually our biggest cost driver as far as increasing our budget. So we will look at minimizing that as much as possible. I know that the court had discussions last year with several departments, and several departments did go and reduce allocations to personnel that they were awarded last year. And we had a subsequent meeting. Court went back and the departments were able to reduce, and court had given their commitment to look at it this year. Maybe if we limit it to just those departments that were awarded last year that went down, such as the sheriff's office. I know they were awarded several positions. Then because of budget constraints, we went back. The sheriff was agreed to reduce that number down. I think there were several other departments that did that as well. So we would be looking maybe just at those limited instances. But we would try to keep it to zero or to as few possible as far as personnel increases. We would also be looking at providing funding for no projects that are not 100% funded by some new type of revenue. And by that, we would mean previously in other budget cycles, we had provided personnel to the fire marshal's office, but in return, that was supposed to generate additional permit inspections. So those types of projects we would look at continuing to do. But however, we would have to make sure that those projects are completely vetted and make sure that they will provide 100% return back to that investment. We would also be looking to maintain the current operating budget for all departments. We would also, again, try to identify solutions to high budget line items to try to mitigate increases in budget expenditures. In regards to grants, we will look at terminating those grant positions when those grants expire. We have done that in the past, and we would continue for the court to do that moving forward. And then also to continue the 90-day hiring freeze for the general fund vacancies. So those are the development criteria that we would be looking at to having the court to approve. I don't know if there's any other items that the court would be looking at, or we can also discuss that during the budget workshops.
We have the potential franchising of trash, right?
Correct.
Looking at that.
We've discussed that. We've actually had meetings with the chiefs of staff regarding possibility of bringing that project back, and even looking at maybe doing it via pilot program to maybe one or two of the precincts would start that program, and then we would maybe move it countywide. So yes, those are some of the programs that we would be looking at. There'd be new projects, and those would really be no added expenditures. Those would actually be reducing county expenses and tipping fees and things.
And by looking at the 90-day hiring freeze, we would double it to look at a 6-month hiring freeze, just to see additional revenues and stuff.
We could look at that, and we could try to see what type of impact that would have. A lot of departments have been able to work with this 90-day freeze, and we'll go back and also do analysis as how long they've actually been vacant, some of these positions. Some of them are vacant for longer than the 90 days, and departments are able to manage without them. So we'll come back and present those.
Last year, just for a ballpark
yes, sir.
Number. Last year we went 30, what was it, 3 months? How much money did we generate out of those 3 months?
We had expected to be able to generate an additional $1.5 million
per quarter?
No, for the year. For the year, by going and implemented the 90-day rolling freeze. Usually we lapse anywhere between $3 to $4 million, and we were projecting we would lapse closer to about $5 million by implementing that.
Awesome.
That coupled with the step and grade and the movement of steps would also be able to provide already a self-funding source for merit increases in the future for fiscal years 2019, 2020. Those types of things would be able to sort of pay for themselves.
Hey, Sergio, also, if you see a way to save money that maybe hasn't been approved before or has been shied upon by this court for whatever reason, please bring it back. At least give us the opportunity to see those opportunities that are out there. It's not necessarily to say that we're going to approve something like that, but because it hasn't been approved in the past, don't discard it. Bring them back. And I don't have a specific example, but if you have anything that you've looked at before, please bring it back just so that we can make all those considerations.
Commissioner, one of the things then along those lines, and one of the things that the court has looked at in the past is through attrition.
Reduction in force via attrition.
Reduction
We
in
have
force
looked at
through
that.
attrition. You look at the area, you look at the sustainability of that service, and potentially through attrition, you just reduce by that because Mr. Cruz is correct. We do have departments that have vacancies that exceed 90 days. There was one, if I am not mistaken, there was one that came before my desk. We were at 185, 190 days. And so, yes, that's another avenue that the court could look at is through attrition.
Present them, please.
And that's what I mean. We got to get more comprehensive while while we have this opportunity to be objective and subjective to becoming leaner, meaner, and more efficient. And I'm doing the drill at my precinct. I think I have about 9 or 10 vacancies right now, but we're still operational. So even to my position, I mean, I'm looking at it also. I mean, where am I going to get better return on investment dollar? And then where can I maximize efficiencies? I think we need to do this overall and see if we can really look at it without just adopting the status quo and just adding to the issue. I think these are the days.
And Commissioner, then the other option or the other avenue that we can look at, which we've discussed in the past, is reallocation of resources. And in this particular case, we're talking about human capital. There may be an instance where you have one area that's got, for the sake of argument, 1 or 2 clerks that potentially, they can deal with 1 clerk, and you have another area that's in need of. You just reallocate the resource, the human capital, to that other department. They're still working for the County of Hidalgo. They're still, employed with the county. You just reallocated the resource.
And I'll give a little bit of credit to Paul Villarreal, who's working with us on trying to fill some of those vacancies for the McAllen Tax Office. He's asking, for instance, our precinct for a position, and we're going to help him with that.
How did you arrive? I know that you prepared some issues that we're going to be discussing, perhaps not now in full, but during the budget process. One of them being room and board, jail and juvenile budget increase, $3 million. How did you arrive at that figure?
Yes, right now, currently, the jail room and board budget is roughly about $1.8 million that we adopted for this budget cycle.
Is that for people that are housed outside of our facility?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And right now, we've seen an increase in the jail room and board, and we saw that increase last year. During the first quarter, or the first half of the year, we had seen a significant decrease, and during the budget process, we went and reduced that line item. However, during the last quarter of the year, there was a spike. Almost the number that was being housed out of county was almost doubled. However, we were able to manage last year because we did have reduced expenses under the juvenile room and board, so we were able to balance that out. However, given the fluctuation between the adult detention room and board and the juvenile room and board, those are some of the things that we've been looking at, that perhaps if there's funding, additional resources for this next fiscal year, those are some of the things that we're short budgeting right now that we will be recommending to the court to maybe budget at a little bit higher level. So that's where those figures come from, Judge.
The public defense, the increase that's projected is $1,250,000.
And that's really not a real increase. That's really the increased funding level that we'll be recommending for the next fiscal year. Right now, the budget level that we have for public defense is about $1 million less than what historical expenses have been. And again, last year we did, in an effort to have a balanced budget, we did short budget that line item, knowing that we have the $5 million in lapses because we were adhering to the 90-day rolling freeze. So we were able to meet those expenses within the current budget. Last year, I think we came in about $400,000 less as far as budgeted expenditures to actual. And we did have roughly about $7 million in additional revenue than what was actually budgeted during the budget cycle. So we were able to increase our fund balance. We were projecting roughly about a $27 million fund balance at the end of last year, and that's actually going to be closer to about $30.2 million.
Thank you.
Judge, I would be requesting approval of this budget development criteria. That way we can communicate to the departments and offices as to what the Commissioner's Court would be expecting, which would be basically to have the departments stay within their current budgeted items, and if anything, if there's any opportunity to maybe reduce budgeted expenditures within their departments to actually have that as well.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 19B is approval to submit the request for funds for the unclaimed capital credits from the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts as authorized under Section 74.602 of the Texas Property Code with authority for the county judge to sign the letter of request.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 19C is ratification of the effective date of the personnel action approved by Commissioners Court on May 2nd, 2017, from the effective date going from May 2nd, 2017 to March 20th, 2017. That's the date that the funding for that position expired within the grant, so we had to reallocate that to a new funding source.
Why 1717?
March 2017? The March 20th is when the grant funding expired. The grant funds were exhausted at that point, so we have to switch that over to a new funding source.
Right. Those, I think what he's asking, are those dates correct? 5/2/17 to 3/2017?
Yes.
To change it.
Yes.
Oh, I got
Because the
you.
effective
I
date,
got you.
the date that
Oh,
court
okay,
approved,
you
last Commissioner's Court, they approved at the date of the court, and we're requesting it to be a prior date.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Need a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Just a little bit background on that auxiliary court grant. We still will be receiving that grant, and usually that becomes effective on September. However, we will be requesting from the court to shift the grant funds, the purpose from the auxiliary court to possibly some other type of law enforcement, just because the funding amount of that grant has reduced significantly over the years. We used to be able to cover multi-fiscal years with that grant. Now it only provides for about $30,000 to $40,000 in expenses, so that doesn't cover a full funding cycle. So we will be requesting approval, and we'll bring that back sometime in August. Item 19D1 is approval of 2017 appropriation of funds to the Precinct 3 Road and Bridge programs 107 and 120 in the amount of $191,141.40.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And item 19D2 is approval of 2017 appropriation of funds for the Special Vehicle Inventory Fund, Fund 1246, in the amount of $102,377.67.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Purchasing.
Martha
Ms.
Salazar for
Salazar.
Purchasing Department. 20A1, requesting approval for Hidalgo County to exercise its option to terminate under the provision number 2 as stated in the current agreement with Drone Dynamics by providing the 30-day written notice of termination.
So moved.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2 is ratification with acceptance and approval of the continuation of the Retail Fuel Card Services Contract 946-M3 with the Council of Competitive Governments, CCG, with and through the State of Texas Comptroller Procurement and Support Services Program with newly awarded vendor U.S. Bank National Association, and the ending date is April 30th, 2019, with the option for the state to renew 3 additional one-year terms.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 3.1 is requesting approval to declare the items listed in Exhibit A attached here in office furniture, equipment, and vehicles as surplus for the purpose of sale through online auction scheduled on 6/7/2017 in accordance with Government Code 263-152A1, and in the event no bids received, well, let's do that one first.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And in the event no bids received, we go to item B, which is requesting authority to publish advertisement of the auction of surplus scheduled for 6/7/17, including but not limited to seized, abandoned, and unclaimed property.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B1, Precinct 1, acceptance and approval of certificate of substantial completion for Texas Cordia Construction, contracted vendor for the paving and drainage improvements of Mile 1 North from FM 1015 to Mile 1 West is submitted by project engineer Sam Engineering and Surveying under contract number C279, and I believe there's a correction there, a typo of 09-06. I believe there was a concern, but it has been complied with.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2 is certificate of completion as submitted by Asago LLC for paving and drainage improvements, mile 2.5 East Road.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And B is application for payment number 5, which is final, as submitted by Asago LLC in the amount of $8,712 for the provision of the paving and drainage improvements for mile 2.5 East Road under contract number 363.
So moved.
Need a second? Second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 3 is requesting approval of the following for 2GS LLC DBA Earthworks Enterprise for FEMA Road and drainage improvements, mile 11 North, mile 13.5, and Yvette Circle under contract number 398. Excuse me. A, acceptance and approval of certificate for substantial completion by Earthworks Enterprise as submitted and recommended by project engineer Lefevre and Management Consulting LLC, reflecting the date of May 10th, 2017.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And B is application for payment number 2, the final, in the amount of $319,802.69.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
4A is request and approval of interlocal agreement between the County of Hidalgo and Cameron County concerning the reconstruction of mile 3 East Road to commence 362 feet north of I-2 for the duration of 1,253 feet.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, in accordance with Section 791.014 of the Texas Government Code, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreement project concerning 1,253 feet of the road that is in the jurisdiction of Hidalgo County and Cameron counties, where county boundaries are at the center of the road, west belonging to Hidalgo County and east belonging to Cameron County, for a total of 1,253 as stated.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 5 is acceptance and approval of certificate of substantial completion for Texas Cordia Construction Contractor vendor for paving and drainage improvements to mile 14.5 north between mile 4 and mile 6, as submitted through the project engineer, Sames Engineering and Surveying, under contract number 280.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 6, request and approval of the interlocal cooperation agreements between the County of Hidalgo Precinct 1 and the following cities: Alamo, Donna, Edcouch, Elsa, La Villa, Mercedes, Progreso, Progreso Lakes, and Weslaco.
I have a motion, but I have a question también. What's this in local form, Commissioner?
This is going to be a standing interlocal agreement in case the city needs us to go and assist them with some work in general. For example, we had a parking lot in in Elsa that they needed some help with. We will bring project-specific interlocals, but this is just, it has stated rates for machinery, for labor, so that if they do hire us, that we'll already have a cost that we can project out for them in case they have a project.
Because I've had in locals before, and legal has asked me to put some dates on it.
Well, these interlocals, and Commissioner, I think in Precinct 2's had some of these interlocals before.
That's correct.
The only thing you have to be careful of is as the precinct's rates change for labor, equipment, or supplies, it's the rate you're going to charge the city is the rate at the time you were doing it, not necessarily the rate that's specified in there.
But then again, I mean, it's like me. He's going to help his city. See, we're not going to charge. Are we going to?
No, he's charging.
You're charging him for that?
Labor, equipment, and materials
If we're
at
doing
county
work
rates.
within the city boundaries?
Well, the way I do it, I mean, like, for example, we had in the local city of Mission, we're providing the labor and machinery.
But see, in his, they're paying for everything.
But it adjusts to county roads.
Well, this could be any project within the city, as long as the city is paying the county its cost of doing the project.
Okay, another thing is he needs to be aware because what about the county? What's a rate for the county?
Well, they've gone through there and they've analyzed the labor rates, which includes all fringe benefits for each position, the materials, the actual cost of the material cost to the county, and for the equipment, I believe they're using the FEMA rates for the equipment.
Yeah, as long as everything's in order. Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
B, in accordance with Section 791.014 of the Texas Government Code, requesting approval of the interlocal cooperation agreements in desires to assist each other in multiple projects as defined by mutual agreement in which both city and county would benefit from the outcome of the work by decreasing the cost of services and increasing the quality of life for both the citizens in the county and the city.
So,
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Just to clarify real quick, Steve, I'm not sure if this is a legal issue or not, but on 6A, on items 7 and 8, Progresso is misspelled. I just want to make sure that we're identifying the city.
As long as spelled correctly on the interlocal, that's what I'm concerned with. I think this is enough notice on the agenda to
Just want to make sure it's
right.
notifying, or it's,
Yeah, be sure it's right, yeah.
make sure that it's the correct spelling.
As long as it's correct on the interlocal, I'm okay.
Item B, we're still continuing with B7, acceptance and approval of certificate of substantial completion to GS LLC, contractor vendor with Colonia Noreste subdivision is submitted by the project engineer Tedzi, contract number 260.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 8A, acceptance and approval of professional services agreement number 125 with Chanine Engineering LLC for job-specific project Sunset Facility Structural Analysis and Assessment.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is acceptance and approval of work authorization 1, estimated cost of $7,500, Chanine Engineering for the job-specific project Sunset Facility Structural Analysis and Assessment for Precinct 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C, this is for Precinct 2. Item C1A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements, Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is a presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioner's Court of the firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional engineering services providers for the Wayland Road Extension Project. They were B2Z 98, Javier Hinojosa 95, South Texas Infrastructure at 97. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Yes, ma'am. Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
3 is authority of the purchasing department to negotiate a professional services agreement with the number 1 ranked firm of B2Z and that's commencing with B2Z for professional engineering services for the Wayland Road Extension Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is acceptance and approval to execute the final form of professional engineering agreement subject to legal counsel's review with LNG Consulting Engineers for the on-call geotechnical construction materials testing and inspection services for road and bridge, CIP, and other projects in general for Precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3, acceptance and approval to execute the final form of professional engineering agreement subject to legal counsel's review with LNG on-call services for road and bridge, CIP, and other projects in general for Precinct 2 as approved for negotiations back on April the 18th.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
3B is acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 with an estimated cost of $137,062.96 as submitted by project engineer LNG Consulting to provide compensable utility management and coordination for adjustments for the Precinct 2 Dicker Road project through contract number 137.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is pursuant to contract with LNG, Article 12, a request for approval by engineer to permit the subcontracting of B2Z Engineering and ROW Surveying Services Incorporated in connection with contract number 137, work authorization 1 for the Dicker Road project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Precinct 3, D1, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 263-151, discussion and approval to declare a surplus 3 trench boxes and as further detailed in Exhibit A, including to establish a sell price as stated in the order contained herein.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
B is acceptance and approval by Hidalgo County Commissioners Court, evidenced by an order authorizing the sale of certain personal property described in the attachments to Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 for the amount approved as stated in the order.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item C, requesting authority to remove said asset listed in Exhibit A attached here too from the Hidalgo County inventory list after finalizing the sale of the equipment to Drainage District Number 1.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item E, Precinct 4. Item 1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
B is a presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking. This is in connection with professional engineering services required for groundwater, gas monitoring, and groundwater data evaluation at closed landfill site in Precinct 4. To remain in compliance with TCEQ regulations, they are MTME LLC at 97, Cruz Hogan Consultants at 95, and Alpha Infrastructure at 93. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Authority for the Purchasing Department to commence negotiations for professional services contract for the number 1 ranked firm of MTME LLC.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting approval of Supplemental Agreement 1 to Work Authorization 2 for the increased amount of $58,831, amending Exhibit C work schedule and estimated man-hour breakdown, with change to estimated original cost under Work Authorization 2 from $1,067,000 to $1,125,831, as submitted by L&G Consulting Engineers, DBA L&G Engineering, in connection with amendment number C-178 for job-specific project engineering services required for right-of-way acquisitions, and is further posted on the agenda for Mile 3 North, FM 1924 to Mile 5 North, FM 676, located in Precinct 4.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 3, this is requesting authority to purchase one 2017 Ham HD 120 VODD 78 vibrator drum rear oscillator drum roller for the Hidalgo County Precinct 4 through the membership and participation with the buy board contract 515-16 from the awarded vendor Wortgen America Incorporated, authorized dealer, which is Noesis Power Equipment, respectively, through the submitted requisition 342358, $180,806.90, and subject to the SAMS.gov compliance.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
For item 4, Commissioners, Judge, members of the court, I'd like to introduce Ms. Dina Trevino. She is a purchasing agent in training, an assistant in my office. She's going to be taking item 4 for obvious reasons, and this will give her some on-the-job training.
Artie, can you please put on the record the reason for?
Yes, it's especially item B for Precinct 4, but she'll take all of item 4.
No, but why you're not doing it? Because of the relationship, just for the record.
Yes, there is a relationship with a vendor on item B, which I've disclosed when he was first awarded the contract.
Thank you.
And the paperwork has been submitted. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item 20E4, A, requesting approval of professional engineering services agreement with HAF Associates for building repairs, renovations, alterations, additions, and or other related services to county-owned buildings utilized by various departments for projects located within Hidalgo County Precinct 4.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval of professional appraisal services agreement with multiple ranked and selected appraisal firms, Lonel Garza Jr. and Associates, LLC, and George J. Salazar II, DBA Appraisal Haas, for the purpose of appraisal services, the fair market value appraisals in connection with the acquisition of land, right-of-way easements, condemnations, and disposition of county-owned property located within Hidalgo County, Precinct 4.
Move for approval.
Second.
Just a quick comment, Judge. This is one of the places that we need a tremendous amount of help. I mean, our appraisals are taking forever, and so to get anybody, including Appraisal House, and hopefully there's other people listening out there, we need more and more appraisal services, and so this is a start. That's just my comment, Judge.
Okay. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
C, requesting approval of a professional appraisal service agreement with Professional Appraisal Services for the purpose of appraisal review services for projects located within Hidalgo County, Precinct 4, as approved for negotiations by Commissioners Court for pool of appraisals, May the 2nd, 2017.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
D, acceptance and approval of work authorization number 2 with LNG Consulting Engineers for project geotechnical engineering services for Milo Ponce Memorial Park improvements in connection to on-call agreement 305 for projects located in Precinct 4.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dina. And Judge Commissioners, just to reiterate what Marty said when she introduced Dina, obviously you all know Dina because of the budget, but she has been assisting us over at the purchasing department, and she is in training, in essence, at some point in time for down the road, because this is part of the discussions that I've had with the court with respect to continuity of services within the departments, so that as we have changes within whatever department, those services are still going to continue without missing a beat. Thank you, ma'am.
And she has been a great help. It's been very refreshing to be able to have someone who backs me up when I'm not there, and it's going to be great for the county as well.
That was a small rock you threw at me.
By the way, I did write down that 1-800 number for abuse for elderly. Judge, I've got it down if you need it. I'm going to let my children know that I have the number. Item F1, requesting exemption from, and this is for public defenders, exemption from competitive bidding requirements under the Texas Local Government Code Section 262.024A7, a proprietary software.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
B is requesting approval of an agreement for online research services with LexisNexis for the public defenders and subject to Form 1295 if necessary.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
G is Health and Human Services Department, and this is in keeping with that pilot project that Mr. Olivares described for the court. This would be approval of the First Amendment to Service Contract E16392 between the Hidalgo County Health Services Department and Network Sciences for the provision of software services for indigent healthcare system as permitted under the terms of the contract with compliance with 1295 when and if applicable.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2 is another initiative that the Health Department has taken in the past when we had Blue Cross Blue Shield as our carrier. This is a request to complete a provider agreement, product participation, and signature sheet in acceptance and approval by Commissioners Court with authority to have the document executed and subject to legal review, which it has been, with no obligation of compliance with Form 1295 as it is a county.
So this is a contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield?
No. We had one when we had Blue Cross. This is with Aetna.
Okay, I have to abstain from this.
Okay. Yeah, this would be with Aetna, and this is to help defer costs when we go and get our vaccines. They, all us eligible employees, they can charge for those services and recover the cost of the vaccine. And this is with Aetna. The legal counsel, DA's office reviewed it.
We got it. We don't have enough people, so if you want to just skip it for now and we'll come back. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
no, that's okay. I'll do
motion
that.
to approve.
I'll second that.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
H is Colonia Access Program Precinct 3 presentation for discussion, consideration, action to recommend recommendation by project engineer Javier Hinojosa to award the lowest bid and specifications Castle Enterprises in the amount of $205,914.93 for bid number 124, road and drainage construction of El Paraíso subdivision.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Sheriff's Office, 1, agenda item 59742, pursuant to local government code, subchapter D-263-151-2A and or B, declaration of asset number 38783, issued firearm, and is further detailed in the supporting documentation contained herein as surplus for the purpose of disposition as permitted by government code 614.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And pursuant to Government Code Section 614, permitting a peace officer retiring from a governmental entity to purchase their assigned firearm, requesting that Hidalgo County Commissioners Court, per code, approve the value of Lieutenant Jose N. Rodriguez's issued firearm as at the fixed asset value. Supporting documentation is attached at $50.88.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Approval to enter into the final negotiated professional veterinary services agreement for Four Paws Animal Hospital for the purposes of veterinary services for the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office. It has been already reviewed by legal counsel.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Presentation of the sole responsible vendor, Montgomery Technology Incorporated, submitting the lowest and best bid as detailed in the tab and supporting documentation for the purposes of award and approval of contract, but in no event to exceed the statutory bid limit of $50K, because this was done on sealed quotes, for electronic security MTI system maintenance and repair.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item J is for the Adult Probation Department. This is Mr. Arnold Patrick, Executive Director, is formally requesting to remove fixed assets from their inventory list with detailed description of fixed assets attached here to in Exhibit A.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Under K is countywide presentation of the sole bid, Model Laundry submitting the lowest and best bid. This is for the purpose of award and approval of contract for the request for bids titled Mats, Dust Mops, and Shop Rags and Towels through project number 057.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Requesting approval to accept the bid and approval to award contract to Pavement Markings. We had 13 packets distributed, 2 bids received. They were the lowest and best bidder overall and meeting all specifications. This is for the striping markings of county roads, county parking lots, and miscellaneous county-owned sites, subject to compliance with 1295.
Is this the same firm that did it last year?
I believe they've remained the same one.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 21, open forum.
One participant.
Okay, we have one presenter, Ms. Fern McClarty.
Don't take my time walking because we're frozen back there. All right. Damn, it's cold. Y'all could save a lot of money on the light bill.
We're going to last longer this way.
Let me tell you. I'm telling you, people are getting sick back there. I had a question on item 5C, the tax abatement. As this commission knows, the new property values from the appraisal district have been received by the people, and the majority of the values have been increased. The people are paying more, so why is it necessary to give a tax abatement to South Texas Electric Company? There are now a variety of electric providers in the county. How was this one selected? How many jobs will it be created, and why is the abatement
retroactive to December 2015. Also, the abatement is 80%, but the time limit is not listed. In reference to creation of jobs, what happens if the project number is not met? Do y'all ever check that? The items refer to the tax abatement guidelines. Is this the TERS or is this another document? I am requesting a list of companies that have been given tax abatements and that a statute report be provided. The question is simple. Are these companies benefiting from the residents of Hidalgo County? Also, the tax office, the county commissioners are being requested, and y'all voted on, to participate in implementation of scofflaw agreement with the city of Donna and Palmhurst. I will remind the commission that the implementation of such agreement will impact primarily the poor among us. The rich get 80% tax abatement, and the poor get an implementation of a scofflaw. When are we going to see a law that provides low-income families for an award for paying their taxes on time? Number 20, you just passed, which was talking about a $50 gun. Have y'all priced guns lately? They're anywhere from $5 to $1,000. I think this one had $538.48. We had bids back there, $51 to $100, so y'all could have made some money on that. Also, I'd like to know if they retire, is this gun put in their name and taken out of county's name at any time, that there would not be a liability to the county if something happens? Also, you have 19B, unclaimed property capital gains. I looked on the backup. I could not find out how much money has the county received. I understand in the past years we've gotten some, what the estimates are in the past, if you'd give us an idea so that we can see this is extra money. And we would appreciate that y'all would lower our tax rate, because the tax values on people's properties go up each and every year. I certainly hope y'all's went up this year so that you can understand what the people that are out there in the county and they're desperately trying to pay their taxes. Help them. Quit spending it and help lower it and help the people out there. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Judge, Commissioners, I understand Ms. Solano that was earlier with the proclamation, so that's we have no more participants.
Executive session?
Executive session, yes, sir.
Okay, just a minute.
Yes, sir. Oh, and when we do go into executive session, we do have an addendum to read as well, which is part of the closed session, which is an additional for closed session.
All right, pursuant to section 551.071 and 551.072, I would entertain a motion to proceed to executive session.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We will be in executive session.
We're back from executive session at 1:47. Valde.
Thank you, Commissioner. Under open session, let me just go back to it. Okay, I'll take the addendum first. Under open session, pending and or potential litigation matter involving joint real estate sale by County of Hidalgo, City of Edinburgh, DC, and others, will proceed as directed. Going back to open session, item 24 under the regular agenda. 24A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, no action to be taken. 24B, pending and or potential litigation, no action to be taken. 24C, Judge Commissioners, this was a condemnation issue that was being facilitated by the firm of Atlas Home Rodriguez, and so I'd like to just to put on the record that I'm asking under item 23, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under the Texas Local Government Code, section 262.02484, professional service for the provision of legal service representation in connection with litigation. I could have a motion to that effect.
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And item D, requesting engagement with the firm of Atlas Home Rodriguez, specific to State of Texas versus D&S Bell Enterprises Limited et al.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 24D was State of Texas and Hidalgo County versus Johnny Rigney and Melissa Rigney. I'd like to put on the record for the court to accept a settlement agreement and release.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 24E, Zaragoza Gomez and Anita Gomez versus KHIP Ventures LLC et al. Judge Commissioners, I'd like to put on the record this is being facilitated and shall be assigned to Ms. Josephine Ramirez of the Civil Division of the District Attorney's Office. I can just have a motion to that effect.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item F, EEOC charge number 451-2016-0284, Jose Lara Hinojosa versus County of Hidalgo. This was facilitated by the Civil Division, Josephine Ramirez's office, the DA's, and I'd like for the court to entertain a motion to give me settlement authority in the amount of $14,250.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item G, EEOC charge number 451-2017-01461, Maria Leal versus County of Hidalgo. I'd like to put on the record this is being facilitated and shall be handled by Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office, Civil Division of the DA's office. Motion to that effect.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item H, claim of Mary Alice Palacios will proceed as directed. Item I, claim of Maria Mendoza. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $50,000, and this will be for BI.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item J, claim of Italy Perez. Judge Commissioners, I would like settlement authority to make an offer for property claim in the amount of $2,885.28.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item K, claim of Maria Solmonson. This is a supplemental to an original property claim. I'd like authority to make a supplemental property settlement offer in the amount of $319.19.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item L, claim of Jim McCallan, will just proceed as directed.
At this time, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.